Hey there, you're listening to You Still Going On About That with Rob Israel and Joseph K. You can find us anywhere you could download podcasts. You could also find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at YSGOAT. Thanks for listening. I'm Rob Israel.
Joseph K.
And you still going about?
That.
All right, Joseph. How's it going?
It's going. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, good. Well, it's May 22nd. It's going to be May 23rd when we're done.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Think about it.
Jeez, yeah.
Again, we're almost at the halfway point of the year.
Almost midsummer.
Don't like it. Yep. I'm going out to where country was that in? The midsummer thing.
Wasn't it like Norway or
I'm going to Norway.
Sweden?
A friend of mine invited me out there. It's this festival. It's where his family's from. And he said, it's gonna be a really good time.
Yeah.
Do some art research. And he asked me if I like wearing bear suits for some reason.
Right. Yeah. I did not love that movie. I thought it was good. It was like, yeah, I could see the artistic worth of it. I mean, it was kind of a cool movie, but I just didn't love it as a I just didn't love it as a movie.
I mean, I like her in the end when she's wearing the flowers and everything, and the guy's like burning in a fire in a bear suit, and
yeah.
it was okay. Did you ever see Hereditary?
Yes, that was really good, I thought.
Yeah, that one's better. Did he make another one? I swear did he make one after?
Wait a minute, was Hereditary, was that the one where they were bringing a demon into the world, or was that the one that had what was the one we talked about that had the twin kind of that was attached to the back? Do you remember that one?
No, that's Malignant. Hereditary has like,
I did see Hereditary too. I thought that was really good.
I can't even explain it. I don't even fucking like the girl's head gets knocked off. Remember, she's like sticking her head. Honestly, I can't explain that movie. If you like paid me, I totally forgot like what the plot of that movie was.
They were trying to bring about, it was like a coven of witches that was trying to bring about a demon into the world.
And they were using they originally were supposed to use the daughter, but she died.
Right.
So I think they used the son in the end.
Yeah,
the one that gets chosen.
He became the vessel to like bring this demon into the world.
Yeah, like the daughter was originally supposed to be the vessel.
Yeah. I'm almost positive that was it. But at the end, I know it does turn out to be the son. That was a good movie, I thought.
Yeah, it was interesting. It had the little house and everything, and
yeah,
dollhouse. All right, Joseph. We're not here to talk about Hereditary. We're not here to talk about or whatever other projects that guy has done. We're here to talk about what are we here to talk about, Joseph?
We are here to talk about we're here to talk about a couple movies. We're going to talk about Dune 2 and the upcoming Apprentice movie. And then we're going to talk about some Donald Trump stuff. We're going to talk about
which is also the Apprentice movie.
Yes, which is also we're going to talk about his ongoing trial, his call for a unified Reich, his possible crusade against pornography. And then we're going to talk about some weird Trump adjacent stuff with a lot of the Trump supporters thinking that the Mar-A-Lago was like some sort of assassination attempt or something.
They're trying to like overplay this. Like, I mean, they were there basically say, "Hey, you have papers here. We're here to take them," and that was it. And they're making it out to be. We'll talk about it later, but this is just typical right-wing hysteria.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Nikki Haley voting for Trump now, which is kind of
not shocking.
No, it's not shocking at all. But it's a 180 turn from where she was.
I mean, she's a fucking politician. They do that all the fucking time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I figured in this instance, maybe there would be a small chance that she'd say, "I can't vote for him" or something.
Yeah, very small.
She would not come out and endorse Biden, but she would say, "I'm going to sit this one out" or something.
Right. And that did not happen.
Or she could have just said, "I don't know what I'm going to do that day."
Yeah, I mean, let's see what I got going on.
She already kissed the ring.
Yep.
So we'll talk about that.
We're going to talk about the Arizona fake electors getting arraigned, one of which was Rudy Giuliani.
Rudy Giuliani.
Yep. We're going to talk about Alito, Justice Alito. There's another incident where he was flying kind of like an insurrection flag from his vacation home, his beach vacation home, not to be confused with any of his other vacation homes. And we're talking about the death of the Iranian president, and then Greg Abbott pardoning a murderer. And then we're talking about a little dust up between Marjorie Taylor Green and Jasmine Crockett, representative from Texas. We're going to wrap it up with Kid Rock and a story about private equity and Red Lobster and peaches. That's it. That's the whole story.
Supposedly, I heard the NFL was another one. That could be it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
we'll talk about that.
yeah,
All right. Well, I'm trying to think. I started watching a show. Well,
okay,
before we get into everything,
yeah,
you guys like this podcast? You like what we talk about? You like politics, pop culture,
right.
jazz, and just two dudes talking
Nice.
back and forth, exchanging words, ideas. Well, then why not buy us a coffee? The
Right.
link is in all our captions of our episodes, right, Joseph? You're not
Correct. Every single one.
link
Yeah.
is there. You guys have no excuse.
Easy to find.
It's easy to find. If you want to buy us a cup of coffee, that'd be awesome. We'd appreciate it. It'll give us the power,
Right.
need,
Yes.
energy that we need to give you this episode. So, all right. Well, we're here to do this episode. I started watching a show on Netflix. Well, actually, I just finished it.
Mhm.
I hope you watch it and we can talk about it next week.
Yes.
Called The 8 Show. And it's another one of these like shows from like Korea. I'm assuming South Korea.
Sure.
North Korea.
Probably.
I don't think North Korea is allowed to have anything.
Right. Right. Did they all have the same haircut and were eating like potato peels or something like?
No.
Oh yeah, then it was South
Again,
Korea.
another type of show that's about like society and like it's like this fucked up game show that these people end up on. It's kind of like Big Brother a little bit.
Okay.
Remind me a bit of The Glory a bit.
Okay.
Squid Games.
I heard Squid Games brought up a lot when people
Oh
were
yeah,
talking
I mean
about that.
definitely in that aspect, but there's not like 300 people. It focuses on 8 people.
Okay.
I don't want to get too much into it, but it involves like people live on each floor, and each floor makes more money. They find out if you live on the bottom floor, you make the least, and if you live on the top floor, you make the most.
Okay.
And it ends up being a pretty good parable about capitalism,
Nice.
society. It's actually probably the one of the best descriptions of our society as a whole. How the top makes, the people in the bottom do all the work, and the people on the top can sit there and do nothing and just collect money.
Yeah.
Just collecting. They don't have to do shit. They live the life. And what is it? Like people collect dividends on stocks that they
Yeah.
yeah.
Capital gains, right?
Yeah. It's like the kind of shit where like, the joke is if we took away like $20 million from like Elon Musk today, I'll probably make that all back within a week without even a sweat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think a lot of the
Like Jeff Bezos is probably a better example because I still don't trust Elon Musk's wealth. I think I think his wealth is very
yeah.
exaggerated.
Well, a lot of people's complaints about that are that the American tax system taxes labor at a higher rate than it taxes wealth, which is fucked up.
The job creators, Joseph.
It's just fucked up. Like
Of course it's fucked up.
if I fry French fries for 8 hours and make, I don't know, $100, and Elon Musk does nothing and earns $100 off of his investments, I'm taxed at a higher rate than he is because they tax labor more. It's crazy that that's the way the system works. If anything, clearly wealth should be taxed higher than labor, but they should at least be equal. There's no excuse why they shouldn't be taxed at an equal rate.
Well, you gotta be careful when you say that because then you get those Republicans that like to try to push that flat tax thing, and that's a bullshit.
Yeah,
Flat tax is very a right-wing fever dream. They would love that.
yeah.
The joke is that the rich will do better in the end.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, there should be kind of a progressive tax, but I would argue that like if you're looking at like rates, like the rates could be equal and you could still make out okay. Uh
Oh, like if I got taxed 3% and they got taxed 3%, I
no,
was
but like
making a lot
for
more because
up to a certain amount, like if you're only making capital gains of 20,000 a year, then yeah, I mean that could at least be taxed equally to labor at $20,000 a year. When someone is getting that's the difference is that you will never become wealthy off of labor. You will become wealthy off of these capital gains, and those capital gains at a higher amount should be taxed higher, like at a higher rate. But
yeah,
but like all things being equal, if I made $5 off of my lemonade stand and you made $5 off of like capital gains, you can tax that at the same rate. It's only when those amounts get astronomically higher that it becomes unfair. And then
yeah.
you deal with that differently. But
Okay,
anyway,
because I thought you
yeah.
were going to turn into like Herman Cain or something.
No, I am
You
not.
know, we're fast approaching the 4-year anniversary of the death of Herman Cain.
Wow.
Remember, it was that Trump rally.
Yeah.
I think that happened in June of 2020. The funny one, like that was sparsely attended.
Yeah.
Herman Cain died like a month later from
It was like
COVID.
in Oklahoma, wasn't it? Something like
Yep,
that. Yeah.
Tulsa, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Um,
Yep.
Yeah, that honestly, like that to me was like a real big event in the election, but also in like the coronavirus. That was like,
Well, it was so careless and
yeah.
harmful. I mean, we weren't even close to having a vaccine yet. I mean, we were
Well,
literally he had to have his rally. I mean, it was so criminal. I mean, if Herman Cain got sick, so many people probably got sick from that. And
well, that
like,
was yeah. That's my thing is that normally you think wealthy people have access to good doctors, good health care, they eat better, so they're in better shape generally. If it happened to him, then well, who knows who else it was
well, I
happening
mean, he
to?
was also like an older man. I think he had cancer at one point, but that's not the. But he didn't have it at that point.
Right.
It doesn't matter. I hate that whole. I don't mean to pull into because that was one thing I couldn't stand about when I hear all these psychopaths say like, well, they had comorbidities, so
Yeah.
that's why they're dead. And it's like, are you a snake? Like, are you a fucking snake? Do you slither? Are you a slithering snake? You sit out in the sun and absorb the heat because you're fucking filled with scales. Like, the fuck, man? Do you have any empathy? Like, who gives
Yeah.
a shit if somebody has like diabetes or is like a little overweight or has cancer or whatever? Like, that doesn't make it okay.
Right. Yeah. That's
And
yeah,
also, it's
besides
just
the
a
point.
foolish way to think because it's like, again, some of the most healthiest motherfuckers out there got COVID and their lives were destroyed from
Oh
it.
yeah. Yeah.
I said, I remember reading a story early on with this guy. He was like a fucking bodybuilder. I mean, he was like he'd run like not a bodybuilder, like just some super athletic guy. He run like fucking 10 miles a day, bike ride, super fit, you know. He got
Yeah, it's
COVID.
very unpredictable. Yeah.
Yeah, he got COVID. It like rocked his fucking world, and not in a good way. Like he lost like
Right.
all his fucking mass. He was sick as hell. It almost fucking killed him. And then there were cases where people were killed that were supposedly super healthy.
Right.
I remember that's what fucking what's his face said in the beginning.
Hmm.
Not in the beginning, but a little bit into it. The guy that the right still to this day still like blames him for
Oh,
everything.
Dr.
Fauci.
Fauci. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's like he said that flat out. He's never seen anything like this before, where like someone could be perfectly healthy and get it and die, and
Right.
someone can get it who's actually like morbidly obese and could be okay from it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that it was a bizarre thing.
It's like an I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't want to talk about too much because we have other
Yeah.
things. I will say there was one funny headline I saw though, from like the New York Post, and it was like this like it was a recent headline from the New York Post. Someone posted it, and it was like something about Fauci lying or something
Hmm.
about like, and I tweeted, I'm like, it's the year 2024, and they're still harping on this guy
Yeah.
who has
It's
not.
so bizarre.
It's so deranged. The whole Fauci thing is deranged. They still to this day bring it up. That's what I always think like the left fails at is that the left always thinks like they can't stick to one thing. where they can just bring something up and attack them. Some of them will be like, "Oh, it's old, it's lame. We need to move on. Can't focus on the same thing." The right will fucking bring up
Oh
like
yeah.
shit from
We'll
30
still
years ago. Maybe bring
tweet
up
about
Seth Rich.
Benghazi and stuff. Yeah.
Bring up Seth Rich. Isn't that from like
Yeah.
the Clinton administration? I
Yep.
mean,
Yeah. Or
it's insane.
Whitewater, all that. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have. They bring up the fucking internet thing that Gore said that
Mhm.
like wasn't even a big fucking deal. Like I always say that. Like the left needs to like stick to something and just say it
Hammer
ad
it,
nauseum. You know?
hammer it home. Yeah, that's
Hammer
how
it
it
home.
enters the popular consciousness, you know?
Yeah, but oh, it drives me
Right.
nuts. And let me tell
Yeah.
you that that's another reason why you should watch that show. Um the Eight.
Okay,
Like I
yeah.
said, it's really good. How about like society and everything, and how the top view can like really influence the bottom, and the
Cool.
bottom's like hopeless, and it's just really good.
Yeah, I'll check it out for sure.
And there's something to be said too about like the people on the bottom, like there's situations they get into, and they're like, I can't do this to that person. Like they actually have like a conscience, but the people on the
Yeah.
top floor have like no conscience at all.
Yeah, they're not burdened
They're
by that.
sociopaths, like, and it says a lot about things. Speaking of, well, actually, we're gonna talk about Dune too. All right. I watched it. I ain't gonna lie to you. I thought it was okay. It was better than
Yeah.
the first one. Everyone talks about this movie like it is the best movie ever made. I'm sorry, it is not the best movie ever made. It like if I saw it in a theater, maybe I would have enjoyed it more. I will say I really liked uh what's the Harkonnen planet?
Oh yeah. Not Getty Prime. I don't remember, but the way they filmed it, I know what you're
Yeah, I thought
talking
that was
about.
pretty cool. And those weird like I don't know, like fireworks or something going on in the sky. It was like really crazy.
Yeah.
The
It was
whole
a
thing.
very trippy scene. They filmed it in like a super saturated black and white.
Yeah, pretty much. I thought I was
And
like, wait, something happened in the movie?
no, the guy saw the director talk about it a little bit. He wanted it to come off as like a very polluted industrial place. When I saw it actually in the theater, and I remember at the time thinking it was maybe like a little too stylized, but
I
it was
thought it was
real cool
cool.
looking. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, those are my favorite parts of the movies when the fucking Harkonnens are in there.
yeah, yeah. They're good
I
villains.
What do you think of Fade, the Austin, the Elvis guy?
Yeah,
He'll always be the
um,
Elvis guy because he supposedly played Elvis and then couldn't stop talking like
that's right. Yeah, I thought.
he
Well, look, I
sounded like
thought.
Elvis in this movie too.
Yeah, great. I thought
Yeah.
the character was real good. This is the character that Sting played in
I think I like
uh
Sting better.
well,
When
the
he wore
one thing
that
I
little
would
metal underwear when he comes out of like the
yeah,
egg and he's like, hello, and he has a little metal bikini. It's pretty funny.
I yeah, I liked it a lot. I didn't love the one scene where they sent like a Bene Gesserit to like seduce him or something, and he was like momentarily uh you could see him maybe possibly getting seduced by this I thought some of that was a little weird, but he was a great villain. The actor was real good. Uh,
Yeah, I don't know why he wasn't in the first one, but I guess he's not supposed to be. I don't know.
well, I don't know, but like again, I saw the same interview with the director, and he said he wants to make that third one, which would be the second book. He wants to make Dune Messiah, and that would make this a trilogy: Dune 1, 2, and 3 on the first two
Was
books.
Paul, spoilers, is
Yeah,
Paul
yeah,
the actual grandson of Baron Harkonnen in the books?
yeah. There
Was
is,
he
and
the grandson of him in the movie too? The French one?
I don't know if they reveal that, but it is in the books clear. All of the weird thing is all of this has kind of been engineered by the Bene Gesserit. They've been crossbreeding
You mean
these
the Night
families.
Sisters from Ahsoka? Is
Yeah, they've been
that what they're called? The Night Sisters?
in
The
Ahsoka, they're
witches?
the
Night.
knights. The Night Sisters were the ones in yeah, they were in Ahsoka and they were in the latest Empire one, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Bene Gesserit has been trying to do like a eugenics program where they make like a male version of themselves, like that has their powers and
And that's what
stuff.
Paul's supposed to be.
So Paul turns out to be, yeah. And so when he sees his past, his genetic past, he sees that, yeah, he has that those houses are kind of a myth. They're not really separate. They're all like intertwined. So yeah, he is legitimately, that's always been the case. I can't remember
I would
if
hate to be working for Fade.
yeah,
He just like slices people's
kills a
throats.
lot of people.
Yeah,
Yeah. I didn't
that's not a good business practice.
I didn't understand that too, like why people didn't like, just from a practical standpoint, if you kill a bunch of your servants and it gets around that you kill a bunch of your servants, eventually your servants are gonna like
They're gonna have a revolt.
yeah, exactly. They're gonna like band together and say, like, look, if we die, it's at least we're gonna die anyway. Like
Yeah, you're
it's
gonna fucking kill us slowly one by one anyway because you're a
right.
psychopath.
So I didn't really understand like that part of it, but I didn't think about it too much. Um,
So I will say this: I honestly like the deaths better of all the villains in the Dune movie from David Lynch. They were more dramatic. Fucking Harkonnen, something happens to him, and his little balloon body ends up getting thrown into a worm, eaten by a
yeah.
worm. You can see him get consumed. That the Dave Bautista character, who's I like
Yep.
that the Harkonnens are like all redheads in the David
Yeah.
Lynch movie, but in this one they're just weird
Yeah.
white baby heads or something.
Well, they're
Uh,
supposed to
he
be
just
like,
gets killed. He just gets stabbed, but in the Dune movie, there's a scene and his head gets delivered, like and
yeah,
he's eaten. And then like even Fade and the Sting, like the Kyle MacLachlan version, he does the voice or whatever, and he like cracks
yeah,
fucking he like
crack.
cracks him in half or something with the voice. Like I mean, I gotta rewatch this movie. I bet it's like unwatchable, but I still want to see it. And then there's like, okay, like they brought in fucking what's her face for the most pointless cameo.
Oh yeah,
Taylor Joy, is that her name? Yeah, the one who's playing
yeah,
Furiosa in the new one. She has like one little scene, she looks at the camera, and I guess the mom is pregnant with her. So in the end of the movie, she's talking to the baby because
yeah,
the baby who sounds like Anya Taylor-Joy can telepathically speak to her mother
yes,
while she's pregnant with her.
yes.
Yeah, that's kind of dumb.
It is, and it
Because
gets like,
in the David Lynch movie, you see that she's like a little girl,
yes, yeah,
and she's the one that basically kills Harkonnen.
right. And honestly, the David Lynch, I recently saw the David Lynch movie. I watched that, I'd say, I don't know, a couple months ago. After I saw Dune 2, I went back and watched David Lynch's Dune, which is I think on Max still. And
It's on
it
there,
was
as well as Jaredowski's doing the
yeah,
documentary.
yeah. But the David Lynch one is solid. It's just dated. It's like the special effects are dated.
Yeah.
Uh and in some ways they're like noticeably dated in a way that doesn't
What's the
um
Now? What's the deal? Supposedly, there's like a 4 hour cut, but all the footage was like destroyed, so there's no way to ever see it.
oh, I don't know. I have not heard that.
Yeah,
Uh
supposedly that's why David Lynch hated working on it or whatever. Like
oh,
it's
in the Lynch version, yeah.
taken it from him and like it was cut down to like two
Yeah.
minutes, like 2 hours, whatever. And that's why it moves very,
Choppily.
yeah, choppily because you're telling something that's a little more epic. Should have been at least an hour longer. But supposedly all that footage has like been decimated. Like there's no way to make like this David Lynch director's cut. I don't think he has any interest in working on it anyway.
Yeah.
He told him to. I want to make a movie about a bluebird that sits. It's
Well,
very fake looking, and the woman stares at it for an hour.
I think the problem with Dune as a film is that like Paul gains power over a fairly long period of time, and if you rush it, then it doesn't make sense how he got all that power,
Yeah.
and if you give it the length of time it deserves, it gets a little boring. Like,
he definitely gets dark in the end.
oh
Like
yeah, yeah,
you feel like he's not the hero in the end. Like you do feel like he's become like this kind of ruthless dictator in the end.
yeah,
And like, he threatens to kill the emperor, played
yep.
by
Christopher
yeah,
Walken.
yeah, Christopher Walken as the emperor. I thought that
Yeah,
was weird. I mean, it was fine. I didn't mind him as it. It's just strange to see the emperor, and I just think of like Palpatine or whatever.
yeah. I like
And then
Christopher Walken,
what's
but
Pew supposed to be? His daughter or something?
yeah, yeah. She was in the book. The book starts out with like her diary, like page one of the book you read, and it's like Princess Urulon's diary, and a lot of the book is kind of framed that way. You'll see like little pieces of her diary. So her job is at the end, she is also kind of like influenced by the Bene Gesserit. She agrees to marry Paul to kind of preserve the dynasty.
Yeah.
Um, but it doesn't bring about peace because Paul declares war on all the other houses.
Yeah, they don't recognize him as they say
Right.
that in the end that they refuse to recognize him as like the leader. And then Zendaya just mugs at him the whole time. And then at
Yeah.
the end of the movie, she just gets on a worm and rides away. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, did she
That
kill Paul in the book or something? In the third book? Or the second book? Did she kill him or something? Are we supposed to believe, is she supposed to be like the hero that takes him on in the second book? Because that's how it kind of ends. It sounds like she's gonna like go after
right
him.
come back. I don't, gosh, I don't remember. I've read Dune, the book Dune a bunch. I read Dune Messiah years ago, and I never really I haven't reread it anytime lately. I know that that Zendaya role was changed a lot here, I think. It is true that like Paul kind of betrayed that character to get with the Emperor's daughter.
Yeah.
But
Well, he says to her like, "Oh, I always love you," and I was like, "Oh, he's about to fuck
yeah,
her." And now I'm
right. He's
like the fuck her over. He's gonna. Oh,
yeah.
I always love you. Oh, okay. Not giving
Well,
much hope here.
he's Paul says, like, in the middle third of this second movie, every 5 minutes, Paul's like, I don't want to go south. If I go south, billions of people will die. And eventually he goes south. And that's exactly what happens. He starts like this weird fanatical religion. And it's like a jihad, I mean, like the Fremen are supposed to be the far future descendants of like Arabic or Muslim cultures or whatever. And he starts a holy war, and that kills billions of people. So uh, it's all there. I mean, everything was
Yeah, no, you
telegraphed.
end the movie ends with you definitely feeling like he's not the hero. Like in the end of Dune 1, Kyle MacLachlan, and I mean in the original Dune,
Yeah.
pretty much they make him like he's the hero.
Yes.
Starts
Yes.
raining. It doesn't rain the end of this one. There's not you don't feel hopeful in the end of this movie. It feels like
No.
we just exchanged some evil for like some basically potential evil. Like this
Right.
guy, like of course there's people behind him. They see that this is their moment to seize the day. Like what's his name? That one guy who kind of runs the what are they called again? Are they the Fremen
The
or
Fremen.
that guy, that actor from
Oh yeah, yeah.
like he's all got his back and shit, like
Right.
Stilgar, Javier Bardem.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin was there. Isn't that the Patrick Stewart character in Dune? And he has a pug.
Yeah.
And for some reason he has a
Yes.
pug.
The
They should
idea
have the
with
pug in this.
the idea with this is that all these characters that have kind of been on the outs, like the Fremen and the Atreides or the people associated with them, they see this as their opportunity to get back in the swing of things. They don't see what Paul sees. Paul sees like, look, I'm not going to stop. Because I've picked up a tool that can't be put down. I've picked up this. The only way we could win here is to turn this into a holy war, and holy wars don't stop. When they meet their short-term goal, they need to keep going.
Of course.
So
That's why
yeah,
that plays into like our own politics here.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
can't give in; they'll never stop. Once you let them have an inch, they'll take a foot.
yeah, yeah. And Paul towards the end, he's just sort of like going with it. He's embraced it,
Well, I do feel like in the first one, that's why I was like, I think he does a good job in the end. Chalamet,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't feel like he was a good pick for the part at first, but I feel
yeah,
like by the end, I think he does a good job of like convincing me that he's like pretty much a badass.
yeah.
Like you feel it like the way it's shot and done. I mean, listen, it's good. I don't think it's the greatest. There's some cool scenes.
Very cool
Uh,
scenes. Yeah,
I do like the Harkonnen in this one. How it's done. He's not this gross, filled with boils like David Lynch
right.
ones. I don't. Is the one in this supposed to be more accurate? I heard in the original book wasn't like the book. It's like super homophobic. Like he's like,
Mm,
yeah. Supposedly the book, he's like clearly they don't imply that he likes men or something like that
hmm.
in this movies. But did you ever see the Dune miniseries that was on like sci-fi?
No,
That
no,
one's
they.
actually not bad. It's a little
I-
slow and everything like that, but that actually looks pretty good. It had the big get they had was it John Hurt? What was the actor's name?
They
Buckhead
did. I think
maybe?
it was John Hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like he played I think Duke Leto,
Okay.
the father.
Yeah.
Um and I remember the character of Harkonnen in the Dune one supposed to be more accurate to the novel.
Okay.
Harkonnen's definitely more like flamboyant and clearly favors men.
Could be. Could be. Yeah. I.
They kind of hint at it a little bit. Like, there's a scene when Fade, I think it's Fade that goes to meet him. He's in the pool and everything. You see like two male bodies, like kind of look like
Yeah.
they were crushed or dead on the side of the wall.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Servants. Again, these people just. If anybody was happy that day that fucking Fade was killed and Baron Harkonnen was killed, it's fucking servants. They're
Yeah.
like,
For sure.
I mean, the next people are gonna suck too, but at least we get like a fucking break for
Weekend. Yeah.
yeah, get a nice solid day or two of just like no fucking
No.
throat slitting, body crushing. So I mean, would you say this is more accurate to the book?
I don't know. It honestly, like the book is just such a different thing.
That's what I heard. I remember reading that too. They said like the Harkonnen character because I remember watching it like yeah, he's supposed to be this like a gay villain,
Yeah.
like a stereotypical gay villain in who's also really gross. It's kind of
Right.
like the in Rebel Moon, great
Okay.
movie,
Yeah.
solid story,
Sure.
very original. The scene when fake Luke goes to the fake cantina
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and fake Ponda Baba grabs his balls. It's kind of like
Yeah.
that. Like, that's supposed to be what a Harkonnen's like.
It's subtle. Yeah. It's subtle.
I don't know. I heard that that was supposedly a complaint about the books. Was supposedly the writer. It was pretty
Jeez.
homophobic how it's written.
I don't remember
This is
that, but
all
I'm not
this is what I
discounting
hear in the
it. Yeah.
streets. What the kids are talking about. I don't know
Right.
why they're talking about this.
Yeah, I don't remember
Anyway,
it that way. Like it certainly could be the case. Um I mean like
I
it was
thought again I like the way the Harkonnens look, and it makes them like kind of look alien,
yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
inhuman, because you're not dealing with. I mean, except for like the worms and the cute little mouse that you see in the desert. It's
Yep.
not really any like creatures, right? I'm like thinking those are
Nah.
the. Oh, I could see what you mean. Those like soldiers that I guess were part of the Harkonnen.
Hmm.
They had those big helmets. You said you thought maybe those would be the navigators or something.
Yes.
Nah, they just wore like space helmets. I like the direction of the movie. It's very like you could tell like it's a very wide screen, a lot of environment. You see like vast, you
They
know,
did they did a good job showing scope. I think
probably an
one
amazing movie to see in IMAX.
I did we saw it in like a
In a real
small
IMAX
IMAX.
theater.
Yeah, so it was
I'm doing
beautiful,
it.
honestly. The sound was really good and it was
Yeah,
a
it was
great
crazy that they
experience.
got Brian Eno to do the music again. No, was it? No, who did the music of Dune? Was it Brian Eno?
No, it was Toto, I think.
Toto, yeah, I thought that was nuts.
Yeah,
And they got
that's
Toto.
funny.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was good. Like you, I didn't think it was the best movie ever, but I
I think you
really
liked it
liked
more
it.
than I did.
Oh yeah, I know, because I liked it quite a bit. I
I
thought it
didn't
was
care
really
for. I
good.
didn't. I thought the first one was a boring slog. Second one, I thought was gonna pick up and be like more, and it was like, nah, really, it's not so. That's why I said the best scenes are the one with the Fade and the Harkonnens, because I feel like that's when the movie moves the most. But like,
Those were real good. I thought the scene of Paul riding the sandworm
yeah, that's cool.
was
Not like
solid.
it's done well. Yeah.
Yeah, it went on maybe a little too
What about that
long.
woman that pulls out like the baby worm and they like squeeze
Yeah.
out its like juice
Mhm.
or something? What was that about?
That's supposed to be what activates Paul's powers. Like, it kind of kills him.
Oh, that's why
But if,
he gets like a tummy ache from it.
yeah, but if he could survive it, then, that's a sign that he's the one. So he needed to do that.
Yeah. It was
It's like,
crazy when he said, "You don't know my power. If you're not with me, you're against me.
yeah, it
I have the
was.
higher ground, Paul."
There was obviously a Star Wars precursor, I mean,
What?
like it was obviously a Star Wars precursor. Like Lucas was very influenced by Dune.
Well, again, did you ever see the Jodorowsky Dune documentary?
Yes, yeah, I did.
I don't know how influenced George Lucas was as much as like the studio was influenced and gave him. So in Jodorowsky's Dune, it's an okay documentary.
It's fine. Yeah,
Jodorowsky's like, I don't know, he's like full of shit or something, but like he's supposed to get the rights to do Dune. The joke is he's like, I never even read the book. Like he wanted to get like this, he
right.
wanted to make this huge movie. It sounds insane. I don't know how close it would have been to the book or anything like that. But the thing is, the big thing about it was like all the people he wanted in it, and like
Didn't he want Salvador Dali as the
he was going to play
emperor?
the emperor.
Yeah.
And Salvador Dali said to him, "I'll do it, but I have to be the highest paid actor."
Yeah, ever.
And Jodorowsky agreed to it, and he made a joke and said that he'd be paid like like 100,000 a minute or something, make him the
Yeah,
highest paid actor per minute in Hollywood. But the joke was that he would be in the movie for just 2 minutes.
right. Yeah, it was real cool.
So he's like, "You're the highest paid actor by minute. You're only in the movie for 2 minutes, buddy." uh, yeah, he was gonna have him be the emperor. You ever hear like Salvador Dali was like a huge fascist?
Yeah, I believe that. I think I have heard that too.
Yeah.
He was in Spain during that time, wasn't
Let me
he?
tell you, it's really easy to be a fascist when you're rich.
Yeah, yeah, they seem to go well together.
Yeah, yeah. It's easy. It's easy. You know, when you hear a rich guy say things like, "Oh, I'm fine with this." Of course,
Right,
you're fine
yeah.
with it.
He's fine with everything. Fine with
Yeah,
anything.
you're gonna be good either way, buddy.
Yeah,
Might annoy you if it goes a little too left. It might annoy you a bit, but
you'll be fine.
fine.
You'll come out just fine.
Your outcome will be better still than the bottom. Don't worry.
Mm.
Um, but he got like Geiger, Mobius, all these
Mhm.
artists, and they made these storyboards. They
Hmm.
basically like invented the lightsaber in these storyboards.
Oh,
And
weird.
they
Yeah.
basically made it was called like basically it was like a Bible, and it like contained like script treatments, and it contained all the ship designs, it contained like battles
Like battle
storyboards.
diagrams. Yeah.
And he said, they gave him to the major studios, and the movie ended up being passed on because it would have been like insanely expensive, like
Hmm.
whatever his vision was. It would be like the most expensive movie ever made at the time. $10 million. No,
Mm.
no, it
Yeah,
would have been a
probably.
lot. No, no, no. Um, they said though, if you want, he brings up, he's like, it's crazy how all these elements from our Bible, they called like their Bible,
Hmm.
whatever, that had all the stuff in it, ended up in Star Wars, ended up in
Oh,
like
wow.
Blade Runner and some other movies, like a bunch of movies that came out from like 76, 77 to
Yeah.
like early 80s, all had stuff that clearly was lifted
Right.
from his storyboards and everything. So
God.
not take away from George Lucas's
Sure.
genius, but like I said, if you want to know how Star Wars would have been if George Lucas made it by himself with no influence whatsoever, I implore you to read the Star Wars Dark Horse comics. Made a mini series with like 8 issues, but you could probably find a trade of it.
Mm.
And it basically is a comic book adaptation of the original script for Star Wars.
Oh, jeez.
And it is a mess. It is. I told you about this.
Yeah. Yeah, I just haven't seen it.
Okay, you should get it. You should read it. It's
Yeah.
worth a read. But
Oh,
like it's called like just look up like George Lucas's Star Wars Dark Horse comics and you'll find it. Like you can probably
yeah.
get like a cheap trade paperback for like $10 or
Yeah,
something.
cool.
Totally worth a read. It's not good. It's interesting.
Like a historical curiosity.
Yeah, like Darth Vader's like 3 different people in it. Like you see the elements of 3 different people that would become
Oh,
Darth.
okay.
Like, meaning like everything's like, but the funniest thing about this was, and the 25th anniversary just passed of the
Yeah.
Phantom Menace, is that when you read this his original Star Wars, you see that he took a bunch of stuff from that was rejected because it would have made the original Star Wars unwatchable,
Okay.
and he puts it in the Phantom Menace.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
This scene's literally taken from his original treatment and put into the Phantom Menace. It is
Oh, that's
really
funny.
funny. Like all the political stuff,
Yeah.
yeah, all that shit's in the
Trade
original Star
dispute.
Wars. Yeah, yeah, it's just funny. It's just like, oh, yeah, I'm really writing this script here.
Right.
Looking through his notes, and he's like, "Let me take my original script. It was amazing. I don't
Yeah.
have stupid breathing down my neck, telling me to make it fun."
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing, George.
Well, I think you should definitely check it out. Again, I can't say it's good. I'm not gonna lie to you and tell you
No,
that,
but I'm sure it's
but
interesting.
it when when you read it, you'll be like, "Oh, I remember that scene in like the Phantom Menace,"
Hmm.
and yeah, a lot of that stuff ends up in the Phantom Menace. It's pretty funny. All right. Speaking of funny,
Hmm.
so Cannes has been happening,
Oh,
and
yeah, yeah.
a lot of movies premiered. They're looking for distributors and stuff like that. It's where we heard about like, you know,
Right.
Megalopolis,
Megalopolis.
yeah, Metapocalypse starring Death Clock for
Sure.
on Cartoon Network or Adult Swim.
Yeah.
Now, like we've heard about that, but one of the movies that I guess premiered, I don't know if it got like seen by everybody or it was private screening, was The Apprentice, and it's about Donald Trump, and it
Okay.
stars. I need to look this up. I don't know if it's on IMDb yet. Um, what's that actor's name? He plays the Winter Soldier.
Sebastian Stan.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, Sebastian Stan plays Trump.
That's right. Yep.
It's pretty good. Maria Bakalova plays Ivana Trump. I don't know if you ever saw Borat 2.
Yeah.
She's daughter, Borat's daughter in it.
Right. Right.
Jeremy Strong from Succession plays Roy Cohn. Who else is in there that is notable?
There was a bunch.
Well, supposedly this movie is not kind to him in any way, and it basically has a scene where he rapes Ivana Trump, his first wife,
mm,
and I guess the right found out there. Of course, they're going nuts about it. The campaign's trying to sue the movie. They're
oh,
trying to sue, but
jeez.
this shit has been proven in court that he raped his wife. Like
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
that was, I think, was in the divorce. Like this is not
Yeah.
something that was made up.
No, I
Uh,
mean, it's a statement of fact, I think.
the funniest thing about this movie, though, not that that's not funny.
Sure. It's
Funniest thing
all
about
the
the movie
rape.
is there's one billionaire that supposedly backed this movie, and he's super pissed. It's the guy who owned what used to be called the Cleveland Indians. Is that it? No, which
Uh, no, it used to be the Washington, and then there was
Redskins?
yeah, Redskins, which is clearly a pejorative, and he
What was
did not.
what are they called now? Are
The
they the
Washington
Warriors?
Commanders.
Okay. Did Cleveland Indians become the Warriors or something?
I believe they became the Guardians.
Mm.
Because yeah, the Cleveland's team had another
So they're
really.
not called the Cleveland Indians anymore?
No, I think they're the Cleveland Guardians. Geez, now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm
So,
like hesitating.
you know the guy, the billionaire I'm talking about? He's
Yeah,
that for years would argue about changing the name. He got super
yeah,
pissed.
Dan Snyder.
Yeah, and he's a huge Trump supporter, and I guess he's super pissed because he invested a bunch of money into this movie. And he's like, "Wait, did you think it was going to be a puff piece, like a thing
Yeah,
that like talks about how great he is? Like,
probably, yeah.
I thought billionaires were supposed to be geniuses."
Yeah, it's hard to see how he didn't see that coming. Um, yeah, I don't know. The reception at Cannes was that this was great, right? Have you seen the people talk about The Apprentice, the movie?
Not really.
No.
I heard it's supposed to be good, but like I said, I'm getting hiccups. I gotta like
Yeah,
breathe.
yeah, yeah. Um, I think, geez, I think ultimately it's not going to like reach huge proportions over here, but I don't know. I do think it's ironic that out of the blue, the people financing it realized that any sort of movie would be negative about him, and now they don't want it seen. Um, Dan Snyder too is like one of the absolute worst people in sports, but probably in the world too. He just built a toxic workplace. The team was like so backwards. He was a big chud. And then he got forced to sell the team. And the new people that own the team, they're not like the best people in the world, but they changed the name. They have done positive things. Dan Snyder's just garbage.
It was really funny that this guy's upset about it. Makes it funnier.
Yeah, yeah, it's really nice. A lot of sports fans, even a lot of like conservative sports fans, hate this Dan Snyder because the Washington team used to be really good, kind of a perennial, talented team, and then he just mismanaged him. He doesn't know what he's doing. All those kids that inherit a bunch of money or whatever, and they get to buy a sports team. They don't really get it. So anyway, good riddance to him.
I just think like again, all the campaign, if they go after this movie, if they complain about it a bunch, all it's gonna do is make people want to see this movie more.
Yeah, it's like the Streisand effect, right? Like
What is that exactly? I hear this all the fucking time. What did she do exactly?
the Streisand effect is she had a beach home in California, and she did not want it to appear on a map. She wanted like Google Maps to not show it, and she went to court to get Google Maps to not show it or whatever, and she lost. And the irony is that now millions of people know where she lives because she wanted to hide it. So the Streisand effect is like if you try to hide something and in the process make sure that more people know about it.
It's like that fucking lady, that Trump supporter lady in Australia crying about that portrait.
Yes, exactly.
He's the one that's bringing the attention. I never, if she shut up about it, it probably would never, like, it would have been like a meme a little bit. Probably would not have blown up. She's the one who made it blow up.
Yeah, she in it by trying to get rid of it, she inadvertently made it far bigger than it ever was, and so that's like the Streisand effect kind of thing on her. That's probably you're right. That's probably going to be what this movie is with Trump. No one probably ever would have really seen it, except now there's a Streisand
Well, I
effect
mean,
thing
you got
that
Sebastian Stan in it. Like, it's got some stars in it.
yeah,
I think no matter what, it would have gotten played, but now more people are just going to want to see it and talk about it more.
that's true. Maybe
And
yeah,
marketing for the movie. I mean, if the movie was going to make like 20 million, now it's going to make like 100 million
right.
because people are going to be like, they're just going to want to see it. And they can literally use like, the joke is, when they say things like they say Donald Trump hates this movie.
Yeah,
Donald Trump does not want you to see this movie. Like they can literally pull quotes of him and do that. Like they can,
yeah.
when they do like critics and the joke, there's like a thing like Bob Jones from the
Right.
Washington General Times says Hot Dog the movie is a hot
Puss
dog of
pound,
a time.
puss pounding good time. Puss
Puss
pound.
pounding good time and Hot Dog the movie.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Puss pounding good. That's a little joke from last week's episode.
Yes.
If you still going on about that, you can, if you haven't listened to that back, and you're probably like, what the fuck is
Right.
Joseph?
That's a deep cut. That's a deep.
Who's puss pounding? What the hell is wrong with you, man? And it'd be like, oh, but go back and listen.
Right.
Or it's like in the beginning part. I don't think you have to like go through the middle.
Nah, it's real early.
And you'll be like, oh, I get it. And you come back and you listen to the scene, and you're gonna laugh like, I
A
don't know.
much more rewarding experience.
Yeah, and you won't think Joseph's just a weirdo with a weird creeper. It says things like puss pounding
Right.
whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, I am kind of interested in it now, more
And the
so
thing
than
is,
ever.
why? I mean, like you're getting upset saying that this thing is all negative, but you're like putting out, not you, Trump's putting out stuff like, we need to have a unified Reich.
Yeah. Yeah. That is
What
that
the fuck?
that's I mean, this is I guess a good transition. That was just such a bizarre thing. He put his official campaign put out an ad that was like a pastiche of newspaper clippings or whatever, supposedly showing how Trump was going to be, this well-liked president. And one of them was a newspaper heading calling for a unified Reich. And I think it was from a like a now defunct right-wing newspaper site or something.
Stormfront.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. But yeah, Trump called for a unified Reich, which is there's no like wiggle room there in how to
Now,
interpret that.
there's
I mean,
historically there's like one Reich.
that's the only thing you think of when you think of that term.
We went to go see the band Queen's Reich not too long ago.
Yeah.
And I never think about the word Reich in it too much.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they had some like narrator talk before they came on stage.
Yeah.
And they were like, she will be the queen of the Reich. And I'm
Oh,
like,
mercy.
that's my son Roger. I'm like, what?
Right. Yeah.
Nazi rally? What is it?
Uh,
Queen of the Reich. Oh,
yeah.
jeez. Maybe you want to revisit that word.
Yeah, that's not a great one.
Well, I mean, again, Trump's pretty revealing. He said that he would be a dictator on day one,
Yeah.
and he wants a unified Reich.
Yep. Yep. Also a tell.
He's telling people not to jerk off. He told them that he wants to. Let me see if I can find it. I sent it to you.
Yeah.
Where is it? Is this it? No. God damn it. Like the links now when you send them X, like it doesn't have the headlines in them.
Yeah, I hate that.
He sucks. Fucking Elon Musk ruined this site. Trump, this is on Political Videos channel. So I don't know how
Yeah. How
truthful
carefully
these
they
pages,
aggregate
but
things. Yeah.
breaking. Trump wants to ban online pornography nationwide if he wins the 2024 presidential election.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna confuse his base. I mean, I would imagine a lot of Trump supporters are gooners, and they're gonna be confused by the whole they're not gonna know what to do. One hand's gonna be
Yeah, well,
jerk off joke.
I would. It is a weird thing because I don't even really hear conservative Christians calling for this in a widespread way. I mean, there of course would be thrilled with something like this, but like, I don't think this is going to be the thing isn't the thing that they're waiting on.
I just think it's weird that he would even say that he would do this. Like, I
Yeah.
imagine he would do it once he takes power, that he would do something. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Aren't like half the people that go to like Mar-a-Lago like from the porn industry? Like at some point in their
Jeez, it
life?
seems like it. Yeah. It seems like it. It seems like a lot of trust fund kids and nepo babies and hangers on.
Well, it's like a lot of old people with really
Yeah.
weird plastic surgery at Mar-a-Lago. It's just a very,
Mm.
it's bizarre. It is. It's like the last train card in
God.
Snowpiercer. Like it's just like anytime like pictures of Mar-a-Lago show up, it looks like the Capitol from like Hunger Games, but like tackier.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, Um, it's another world over there, you know. I don't know. I think that the anti-fapping position is just like a weird one because I don't see it. I see it more risk than reward for him. Um, but
It just seems like, you got Biden saying he wants to like bring marijuana down to like a class 1 or whatever it
yeah,
is. And then like the contrast will be like, I'm gonna like outlaw porn. And it's like,
right, yeah. I don't know. I don't know where he's going with the porn thing. I think it's a bizarre thing for sure.
well, I just think it's a bizarre thing to bring up on the campaign trail.
Well, did he really bring it up or was he
I
just
don't know.
asked
Again,
about
this could
it?
be completely blown out of proportion. This could be complete bullshit. I
See,
mean, this
that's
is the
that
site
that's the
talking
thing that would
about this is
make
something the Christian right wants, and Trump will go along with it. But I think the headline is I don't think there's like an actual quote of Trump saying like I will ban
I wonder if like
pornography.
just some random reporter asked him about Ken Paxton's banning of porn in Texas
Well,
and
not porn, just Pornhub. Is it just Pornhub?
I geez, I believe it's
Why don't you go on some
all
sites?
pornographic.
Tell me. You're in Texas. No, I thought it was
Yeah.
specifically Pornhub. And the joke was we talked about this, like he says this on like Twitter, which has like
Yeah.
tons of porn on it.
I don't
Like
I think
un
it's
like
all I think it's all pornographic websites. And I do like when I'm on Twitter, to be perfectly honest with you, I rarely see pornography on Twitter. Occasionally it'll pop up
you just
and
gotta search, Joseph. That's all you gotta do.
I just hit like block or whatever. But uh yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway, it is a weird thing for him to go a weird
Well, it
road
just
for him to
doesn't
go
seem
down.
like a First
Seemed like
Amendment.
a winner.
It
Just
seems like
doesn't.
again more like, wait, just this government overreach, taking away any simple pleasures from people in any way whatsoever. I mean, listen, yes, is there stuff in porn that needs to be maybe like regulated or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different discussion. But when you just say you're gonna outright like ban it completely,
Yeah, I
that's
think
just like you're just making like life more miserable for everyone.
right. You and I were talking about that a little bit before we started. I said, and I believe there probably is something to look at here, but like there's just a huge difference
They didn't,
between
they didn't ban.
like well, there's a huge difference between like porn that crosses into I don't want to say exploitative, but like the word porn covers a lot of territory. And you
Yes,
can't well, you can't. I'm trying to think of a good way to phrase this.
we don't
You
have to
can't.
go. We don't have to have a deep
Yeah.
dive
All
into
right.
this.
Yeah. There's a difference between Playboy and some of the weird 4chan stuff, and in that gulf, in that large, long spectrum, there's stuff that clearly should be legal without any hesitation. There's stuff that clearly is already illegal. You don't need new
Yeah,
extra laws
yeah.
around it. So,
Well, again, I don't know. Maybe this headline is bullshit from this site. I'll have to see if it's brought up again. I can't imagine Trump would even bring it up on
yeah.
the campaign trail. It just seems like something that like would get booed by his
Yeah, it's just
base.
a loser issue. Like I just don't see him pursuing it. I think someone probably asked him, and his default is, "We'll take a look. We'll see. We're gonna have the best people look at it."
Yep, yeah,
And
sounds like some
he,
bullshit he would say.
yeah, it always sounds like he's like this thoughtful kind of guy that's
Yeah,
interested in,
the best people on it. You won't
yeah,
have anyone on it.
and
You
that's
won't.
not the case. So
No.
anyway,
Okay. I guess we didn't talk about the Trump trial. Um,
yeah,
so I mean, isn't that going to be over soon? The one in New York.
it's basically over. They're giving jury instructions now. They're arguing over jury instructions, and then I think they each give a closing statement, and then I think it goes to the jury.
Do you think like anything's gonna come out of this, or do you think it's gonna be bullshit, the whole thing?
I don't know. Most people agree, and I this is my layperson's kind of understanding of it. Most people agree that if it's a legit fair jury, that Trump will be found guilty, that the prosecution's done its job. And the wild card is that you could have a sleeper juror, someone who's not going to vote against Trump under any circumstances. So that's one. And the other is that he could be found guilty and the sentence be probation or a fine. Even though it's a criminal trial, the judge could say, yeah, you're guilty of this. It's not a huge deal. If you don't do anything else wrong for 5 years, we're going to vacate it, or whatever. But yeah, I'll bet he's found guilty.
A waste of
That's
fucking
my
time.
well, yeah. Well, in a normal situation, it wouldn't be, because if you're put on probation, then all sorts of things come into play, and you can be dragged into court on probation violations or parole violations often.
I would imagine one of them would be like him talking about it, and he would shut the fuck up about it.
Right. So that's it. I don't know. It seems like the courts did what they needed to, the prosecution did what it needed to do. So I don't know. Have you been watching?
Like Dan Patrick and all these other assholes out there, and they're all dressed like Trump. They're all wearing like red ties and everything.
So weird. I mean, it's just like
Dan Patrick. That's his name, right? The guy from Texas. Like, what the
fuck? Yes. Dan Patrick. Is it Dan Patrick? I think it is. It's Patrick is the last name. Patrick. Yeah, it's Dan Patrick.
Yeah, Lieutenant Governor. He's there speaking, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out of New York, asshole.
So many of them are there. Like these always got these like supplicants coming by, and they stand outside of the courtroom and they badmouth the judge.
It's so not fair. Blah blah blah.
So bizarre.
Could he get any jail time out of this, or is that pretty?
Yeah. No, he could. He could. He absolutely could. It could be like 3 months of jail, or it could be. That'd be hilarious. It'd just be funny if he had to go get booked, like spend a day in jail.
It's just hysterical that they're like the whole time they're like, this is Biden's the one doing this, and it's like
this one has the least to do with Biden of any of them. It's a state thing.
Dude, you wouldn't even be alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This whole bullshit of trying to create like he's this like totalitarian dictator that would just assassinate his political rivals, like Putin would.
Yeah.
So that's like ridiculous. And one of them, I guess we could just talk about this then. So the search warrant happened like, my God, was it like 2 fucking years ago already? I feel like it was
a while ago. Yeah.
I mean, we were going I think we were like on Pikes Peak when we saw that, and then we heard that on the news, and I swore that was like, you went to Pikes Peak like the first year we moved to Colorado. So that is literally like 2 fucking years ago.
Yeah, I'll bet it makes sense how much it was a while ago.
And I remember like, I was like, whatever. He wasn't even fucking there. They came in, They took everything that they could, and they left. It was just like a search warrant,
Mm-hmm.
But right now, the right, like Marjorie Taylor Green, all these people are like trying to be like, oh, they were there to assassinate Trump. If Trump was there, they would assassinate him.
Yeah.
Totally fucking deranged.
Well, they based it off the arrest warrant or the search warrant, which has language in it that says basically if you're engaged in gunfire, you can fire back, or
that's like,
that's what everyone is saying, that these are just boilerplate search warrants, that these are on every search warrant. I don't know that that's true, but it makes sense. They
just try to create this something out of nothing.
Yeah, well, they again want Trump to look like the victim of like overreach. So, yeah, it's not going to work on me. I would think anyone moderately pay attention, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, you have to be a Trump supporter or a person who lies that they're not a Trump supporter.
Yeah,
fall for that bullshit.
Yeah, it's just weird. I mean, like the New York thing is hard to like. It's easy to jumble them all together, but the New York thing is like it's a legitimate charge. I mean, it's like they bring these charges against people. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But I'm thinking he might be found guilty.
Yeah, we'll see. I know, but I'm talking about the assassination thing. That's like,
I'm sorry, the assassin. Yeah, that's just crazy talk. I mean, like that's
just dumb. They're just trying to create drama out of nothing.
Yeah, I would have to think that eventually, I mean, like eventually they would cry wolf so often that people stop believing them, but like they haven't yet. It's been about 4 years, right?
Yeah.
So,
wait, what?
I would think that
it's been out.
No, since he's been not president and been whining about stuff
I
like
mean,
this.
it'll be 4 years. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like over 3 years now. But yeah,
And it's been 4 years. If I was cheated, it was unfair. It was this, it was that. And Trump
and you know
supporters are
that fucker. If
still.
he gets back in, he's gonna be like, I demand a third term because my first
Oh,
term they
jeez.
just
It's
went
going to
after me all
be
the time.
a nightmare
We
if he's
cannot let this
elected.
guy get in. I'm so sick of like having these conversations with these fucking idiots who bring up like what's going on in Israel and everything like that. Like, I get it. It is
Yeah.
awful. And then don't call me let some fucking asshole call me like a Zionist, which
Oh,
I'm like, no,
jeez.
that sounds a little anti-Semitic. Because I'm not a Zionist, you
Right,
fuck.
yeah.
Why am I a Zionist? Why? Please explain to me, because I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't even know what the fuck a Zionist is really, except for like, I don't know. I heard about it when I was growing up, and the people who usually would say that shit were usually Nazis or skinheads or
Yeah.
fucking neo-Nazis and Klan members. Like, people need to fucking stop saying that word. Oh my God, come up with just say like pro-Israel, anti or pro-Israel, pro. I don't even care if you say pro-apartheid or like that, but when you start using the word
Yeah.
Zionist, I think it's like a. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not
I
gonna
do too. I saw a TikTok today where a guy in New York, it was kind of like one of those videos where it sets you up to think one thing, but it's really another. And this guy was talking about how to be safe in Little Palestine in New
Oh,
York.
I saw that. That was stupid.
Yeah,
Is he
and it
fucking
was
porn
just,
star, that guy? I don't know. I was like
oh,
looking
I
for
don't
some
know,
other
but like
videos, and they were weird.
he used the word Zionist, and I remember because you had said that
But
before.
he's Jewish.
Yeah, he is, yeah. But I was like, the way he used it, I was like, that is like a weird word. Like sometimes it means, sometimes it's easy to figure out exactly what they mean by it, but other times it's not. So yeah. Anyway.
I don't. Well, point is, like, okay, so you're gonna let Trump win and fascism take over the country? I hear some dipshit like, oh, it's our fascism. Like, motherfucker, you don't even know what it's gonna be like. I mean, where the fuck were you 4 years
Yeah.
ago? You know, this guy was president. Like, I don't trust some of those people. I always wonder if they're even fucking American. Like, they're like
Well,
some.
it's not even Trump. Trump was just going to watch TV for 4 years, but he will turn huge parts of the country over to the worst people in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Like Stephen Miller is gonna have like a fucking heyday.
Right. It's not Trump's not the problem.
The worst elements of the Republican Party are gonna, and by that I mean the entire Republican Party,
Yeah.
is gonna do what they want to do. I mean,
Yeah. You'll
look at
have
what
like
Ron
the
DeSantis and Greg Abbott are doing in Texas and Florida. If you don't like that, guess what? They're gonna try to do it to the whole country.
oh, they will. Yeah, you'll have like it's just going to be like a 4 year culture
And then,
war.
and I'm sorry, there's not gonna be some workers' revolution. No, it's gonna stifle labor if Trump gets back in. That's a fact.
Yeah.
These are not scare tactics. I mean, they are scare tactics because they are scary, but it's a fact. That is what they're going to do. And if you don't like what's going on with the judges, Supreme Court, guess what? There are going to be more of those horrible judges put in.
Right.
Trump was able to put in 3 in one term.
It's brutal.
3 of the worst judges you could possibly think of, and he got to put them in one fucking 4-year period. They even shoved one in with that last one. Let me tell you, if fucking one of those guys croak, I am better fucking shove someone right in immediately.
Oh yeah, like an 18-year-old.
They do some, no, like just someone. I don't even care if they're like 60. Just shove them in there. Make sure you get, because the Republicans did it to them in like what, September, October,
something like that. It was real late. Yeah.
You ram that person in, and you make sure you get that in there. Who cares what anyone says? Because let me tell you, you want to lose that fucking election if if he comes out and says like, let the voters decide who's Supreme Court, then I can't. That would kill me. I'd be like, no, and that's probably unfortunately what will happen because we live in the shittiest timeline.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just saying, one of those fuckers croak, he better have somebody ready to go, shoved in there.
Oh yeah. I'm sure they have a list. I'm sure they do.
I don't know. I don't know if I would trust Fetterman. What the fuck happened to him?
Yeah. I don't know.
We'll talk about him later when we talk about the Marjorie Taylor Green thing with the Crockett, that woman, what's her name?
Jasmine Crockett. Yeah.
We'll get into that because he's kind of part of that a little bit. Not.
Yeah.
And gently, is that the word?
Indirectly. Yeah.
Indirect, but no, not indirectly. It's after
Tangentially.
the whole thing. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think like, what's going like, and if you think that what's going on in Israel is bad now, fucking Trump in power.
Oh, yeah. It
It'll
just
be
make
like
everything worse.
Netanyahu will be like foaming at the mouth.
Yeah. Everything will
He'll
be like
rubber stamp to do it.
everything will be incrementally worse.
You're not gonna have a workers' revolution under fucking Trump. It's not gonna fucking happen.
Yeah, I'm always kind of surprised at these people that think like that Biden losing will somehow spur a workers'
It
rebellion.
won't. And it'll make the Democratic Party more right wing, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the party will not learn the right lessons from that.
You're not, and who you do? You're punishing Biden? Biden's fucking, he's old. At the end of the day, he could say, hey, I was president for 4 years. I accomplished getting the vaccine out to as many people as possible. I, lowered student debt. I did all these accomplishments.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'll be buried in the whatever. I don't know. Trump will probably be like, that was body in the dump. That was body in the dump.
Yeah. You wonder.
Biden goes to the crooked funeral.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you're not punishing him if he loses. He's an old, like, he's got nowhere else to go after this. He's just gonna live the rest of his life, and that's it. Like, he's not gonna be like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like, you're not punishing him. There's no lessons that are gonna be learned here. The only people who are gonna get fucked are the working poor, LGBT, all LGBTQ people.
Anyone marginalized will become more so.
Yeah. You're not teaching these people any lessons. Like, that's why I said, like, I remember, like, I see like Susan Sarandon like saying she was voting for like Jill Stein or whatever, and it's like, yeah, go ahead, go vote for her. I don't give a fuck. Who gives a fuck? You're one stupid vote. You know what? But it's like, hey, I want people to like understand. She's gonna be fine.
Yeah, regardless.
She's super fucking rich. I think she married some rich dude too on top of it. Fucking like, they have more money you'll ever even think of. Who gives a fuck what Susan Sarandon thinks? You know what I mean? Like, who gives a fuck about any of these people? I saw like Cardi B or something said something about like she's probably not gonna vote for Biden. Well, she was like a big Bernie supporter, whatever.
Sure.
Like, she's like someone who I felt like was usually on like politically.
Okay, yeah.
But then you say dumb shit like that, and I'm just like, you know what? Maybe rich people are not your fucking ally.
Yeah, probably not.
Like, no, but I mean, like, oh, so you're not gonna vote for Biden because of fucking Cardi B? Like I said, I hate when people like, oh, it's so important who Taylor Swift says she votes for. I don't give a fuck who she votes for. I mean, listen, if she gets people like convinced to vote for Biden or gets people registered that will probably vote for him, that's great. But like,
on average, that's not necessarily the case, right?
No, but it shouldn't even be a fucking reason. I'm like, Taylor Swift's a billionaire. Yeah. She doesn't need to. Who gives a fuck? She doesn't give a fuck who wins.
Yeah, it's more
like, I mean, like, at the end of the day, she probably benefit if Trump wins because she'll probably get like more tax cuts. Yeah. Not for Taylor Swift. I'll make sure she's the one, a Taylor Swift exception. I'm gonna put in I don't know, what's her popular song?
She's on
like crap.
Yeah. I don't know the new album that well. I know she has
just her most popular song ever.
Probably Love Story, right? It's a love story.
Yeah. You're asking me, right? Like, I fucking know. I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It didn't work. But the point is, I'm saying, like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if some rich person's telling you, like, oh, I don't like what Biden's doing here, whatever.
Yeah, it shouldn't matter.
You shouldn't fucking matter. Like, okay, so who are you gonna vote for then?
Yeah.
Again, look at who that rich person is. They're gonna be fine. You're not. Yeah. Like, listen, will the poor be poor under Biden? Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It's not always gonna be poor people.
It won't get that better that quickly.
That's how shitty humanity is. That's how it'll always be. It doesn't matter who the fucking is in charge. It's just how miserable will the poor have?
Yeah. Will there be programs available to some extent?
People who are on the cusp of be considered working poor. Yeah. Guess what? Under Trump, that cusp will be just you being poor. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like life will become more difficult for you.
Right. Yeah.
And you will just be poor because you'll lose more safety nets.
Yeah.
And more predatory capitalism will come into play if Trump gets more multi-level marketing schemes,
Ugh.
more corporate. Like it will be a field day for the shittiest fucking people in the country. Like I'm so sick of. I don't even want to argue with people. Like I don't. When I see someone say something dumb on my response to me on Twitter, I don't even want to respond to them. I just say to them like,
Right.
"That's dumb. That's kind of." I just say to them flat out, "That's kind of dumb. That's not.
Yeah.
That's not a good idea. I disagree. No, that's incredibly dumb. I think it would be bad to let Trump win. I don't think it would be a good idea for anyone that
No,
that
it's just like such a dumb plan,
Well, it's like you're trying to like take the moral high ground by claiming like you can't support Biden because supposedly he's the genocide guy or something,
Right.
but you have no moral high ground because you're okay with fascism basically just coming in and taking over.
Yeah.
And they will increase the genocide.
Oh yeah, by
And
far.
they'll bring it home. That shit will come home. Trump will put in Muslim bans again. They did it during his first term.
Jeez, yeah.
Like these are not hyperbole. These are not what
No,
ifs.
these are
These
not,
already happened.
yeah, not even possibilities. These are just things that have happened.
And if this fucker gets back in after during January 6th, after having all these court cases, all these things thrown at him, you know how emboldened him and the GOP will be? They will think they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
It will be like it'll be, first of all, it is a literal get out of jail ticket, let him back into the presidency.
Oh yeah, yeah. He'll have the pardon desk like fired up and ready to go.
I don't know. I can't have it with those fucking people. Like again, I always like I don't know where they live. I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know if they're even fucking American, you know?
It is tough. Like every time I think, well,
Like
clearly this is just
if you hate the United States, you are definitely rooting for Trump to win.
yeah. But like sometimes I think, well, all this online stuff is just bots and like a few, you know, Trump supporters that have made multiple accounts.
But
But
these aren't
then
Trump supporters that I'm
but
talking
then I know, but then you see, well, then you see polls and people might actually vote this way, you know. Um it's just I don't know, it's scary.
It is. It really scares me. I like the whole thing puts me like at unease. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. This past couple of weeks, I've just feeling like this guy's gonna get away with everything with these court cases.
Well, he's getting away with most of them so far just by delaying, but
Like, I just feel like I'm like, is fucking Lauren Boebert gonna win her primary? Like, she might.
could be.
If she gets into that district, she's basically has a Congress. She'll be Congress for life unless something happens. But that something happening is unlikely. She'll be
Yeah.
Congress. She'll be a congressman for life.
Jeez, she's terrible too.
Yeah, she's one of the worst. She's horrible. Like I said, I think you're seeing her right now as kind of even though she's absolutely horrible. If
Yeah.
you've seen what she was like a couple of years ago, she's actually being well behaved because she's trying to.
Yeah.
She doesn't want people to know how insane she is, but she's insane. Like she's gonna be absolutely horrible. It's gonna be a complete shit show. And it's so funny. She went to that Trump, just like Dan Patrick went to that
Yeah, yeah.
Trump rally thing or whatever outside the court. And she was there, and people were calling it like screaming Beetlejuice, which was really cool.
Yeah, that was good.
She's there for that, but her son doesn't even have a lawyer.
Yeah.
He's like completely abandoned him.
And he's been appearing in court without anyone to kind of be there to morally support him because his mom has gone off to
How is that family values? I'm sorry, like that shit should be used against her in every way. Like you abandon
yeah.
your child. Like, yeah, he's 18, he did some shitty stuff, but like
What
there's
yeah.
parents who like have kids who kill people and they'll support them in jail. You know, like
Right.
there's
Yeah.
really this woman has no love in her heart. Like that's just evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the kid, I don't know. This kid sounds like a piece of shit, but he's a victim of bad genes and
Yeah,
shitty home living and
he didn't wake up one morning and do that, you know.
no.
That was like an ongoing
He's a
process.
victim.
Yeah, in a lot of ways he is. Yeah. Oh well.
But like I saw that. I didn't realize like yeah, like while she's out there trying to like kiss Trump's ass at the trial, at his trial, you find out that like her son is in court and he doesn't even have a fucking lawyer and she's
Yeah.
like completely abandoning him. I'm like I can't imagine like that's got to be more local. So like because that's like where she's running in Colorado. That's where it's
Yeah.
going on. I'm like yeah, I'd be like people got to be like fuck this lady. Like
Right.
I'm
I
not gonna
don't
vote
know.
for her. She like totally abandoned her child.
Yeah, I would think to be perfectly honest, like they would vote for her over a Democrat. Like Republicans
I'm
would vote
talking
for
about the
her.
primary. I'm not worried about
Yeah,
the general
she should
because
get
she
crushed in
just
the
has to. She's
primary.
gonna win if she wins the primary. She
Right.
won.
That would, yeah, that seems almost
So I'm
positive.
talking about the primary. Like there's other people running in the primary that are probably more competent and way better at being evil than her,
Yeah.
and will probably do their job. She's not gonna do
Yeah.
her job.
Yeah. I don't know. I know. Oof.
Okay, well, speaking of which, here's another thing that kind of annoys me, but at the same time, I'm like, big
Okay.
shocker here. Came out today. Nikki Haley basically said she'll vote for Trump.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if did she say like she's supporting him or she literally just said, I'll vote for Trump.
Yeah. She said, "I'll vote. I'm voting for Trump," and was a little ambiguous on whether or not she'll be supporting him. Like raising money for him and traveling for him
Being
and
a
stuff like that.
surrogate or
Yeah.
whatever.
So she didn't come out and say that. She just sort of left that a little ambiguous. But she said for sure when she goes to vote, she's going to vote for Trump.
Do you think he would pick her for VP? Or do you
I
think he
don't
won't
know.
because he wouldn't consider loyal?
I don't know. He can always come back and say like, well, she realized she made a mistake and blah blah. Like
There's so many clips of her saying like he's
yeah,
like
real bad
old
things
and
about him.
incompetent basically and slow and
Yeah,
the fact and you could have clips of Trump saying like that she caused January 6th and calling
right.
Nancy Pelosi. Like I
I
mean
think I think you're much more likely to see someone like
JD
Matt
Vance.
Gates, yeah, or
Matt
JD
Gates would never
Vance.
that would sink his campaign. Matt
Uh,
Gates is so repulsive on a national level. No way. No, and with that whole Venmo thing, that shit's just gonna come up more and more. No, the name that's floating around is JD Vance.
okay, yeah, that makes sense. I still you don't think like Nancy Mace or
No, no, not at
uh,
all. No, Nancy Mace has not even been. I would that would come. I mean, if she is, she is. I mean, nothing would shock me, but no, no, fuck that. Did she win her primary?
she did. Um, when was that? Was that one of the ones from last night?
Oh, I don't know. Is that South Carolina or something like that?
Yeah, there's a decent number last night. Let's see. Nancy Mace. God, she's such a weirdo.
I don't
Uh,
like her. I think she sucks. She's awful.
yeah,
She wanted to she wanted to be like treated like a Democrat, but she wanted to be treated like a Democratic politician by the media, but a Republican. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
something might lean a little bit here and there, socially here and there. But she just ran to the right and is a shit weasel, and
Well,
she's a waste of fucking time.
I think when it all started, there were some Republicans that thought, okay, I'm going to reject. I'm talking about a couple of years ago. I'm going to reject Trump and be a part of this new type of Republican that'll take over once Trumpism has kind of failed.
I
And
thought
Trump,
that's what Nikki Haley was going to do. And
yeah,
that's why she would just say, if they asked her who you're voting for, what you're doing, I mean, she could have just said flat out, she didn't have to say she supported Trump. She could have just said, I'm going to vote for the Republican on the ticket.
yeah, yeah,
That could be anyone. I mean, that's the joke. Like something could happen and Trump loses. She could have
sure,
just said that, and people could have just took that as an endorsement or whatever. Her saying like I'm voting for Trump, and
yeah.
people be like, well, duh, of course she's voting for Trump. He's the GOP candidate. But I don't think she needed to fucking come out now and say I'm voting for Trump. I think like she could have held on to that before the convention. She could have like, I don't know.
Yeah, been a surprise convention participant to then make the speech then. But a lot of people say they really wanted her to do it early. What?
Yeah, you're like, "Oh."
A
You're fading.
lot of people said
Not the face,
that
Joseph. That would kill.
a lot of people said that that it was important that she do it early. Although I don't know, I'm surprised she didn't do it much earlier or later. It seems like
I
a
just
weird
don't
time.
know what the point of it now is. Like maybe you wait
Yeah.
till the debate. The debate's like in a month. Like, like
Yeah, there would.
I'm loving though that Trump's already trying to weasel out by set the debate they're supposed to have in the end of June on CNN.
Oh yeah,
Like I love that he's trying to weasel out by saying like Biden can't use any performance enhancers. Like, dude, like you don't use performance enhancers? Get the
yeah,
fuck out of here.
yeah. Do you think he'll weasel out of that?
You? Wouldn't
Kind
try.
of,
I don't have
kind
any
of.
no I don't have any respect for that guy. I think he's a conniving, lying piece of shit. And I mean, he was supposed to testify at his trial.
Yeah,
The
that
one,
was.
and he didn't. He said he was going to, and he
He
didn't.
said that at like every trial forever, and he never does. He said that at the E. Jean Carroll trial, and he didn't. And he said that
Well,
at the
can't they
second E.
force
Jean
him?
Carroll trial.
Can they force him?
No,
Any trial
no,
that he has, they can't force him.
no. That's like an absolute constitutional right. Is you have the
What
right
the
not to
fuck?
incriminate
It's like
yourself.
when Hillary Clinton ran in 2016 and sat through that like 8 hour bullshit of
Yeah.
Benghazi, and everyone was like applauding her.
Well, in criminal trials too, you
You should
can't
have
even
said,
hold it
"Fuck you,
against
I'm not
them for not.
showing up. Get the
Yeah.
fuck out of here. It was a waste of taxpayer dollars and time. This is bullshit. I'm not gonna feed into the theatrics."
Yeah, that really is what any Democrat should do.
I mean,
Right?
as much
Democrats,
as Trump sucks, he's an asshole. I'll give him this. He doesn't want to be humiliated, so he doesn't go to the White House correspondents' dinner. It's like,
right?
why am I going to sit there and have some B grade comedian make fun of me? Fuck that. I'm not going to do
Yeah,
that. Like, why am I going to show up to the debates against the pissant Republicans running against me?
yeah, it
Everyone
makes no
knows I'm the
sense.
guy who's going to win. So why the fuck do I need to like give them even an inch?
Yeah,
You know?
he is right in that sense. Yeah,
I mean,
it doesn't
like,
make any sense.
I mean, it's it's not good decorum, and it sets a bad precedent, and more people will eventually be like, I don't need to debate either. I don't need
Right?
to do this either. And then you just have like a whole society. But the joke is, I'll give him this. Like in some instances, I don't blame him.
Yeah, message discipline.
He knows he's an easy target for a comedian. So why? Of course, he's not going to show up to White House Correspondents' Dinner. Of course, he would probably have to approve that comedian,
Right?
and
Yeah.
just be like Larry the Cable Guy on stage, just like licking his anus or something. Oh God! Well, Trump, your anus is so good.
Yeah.
That's a good impression of Larry.
Is he still alive, the cable guy?
Um, yeah.
Okay.
Or as I like to call him, Is it Maynard? Is what the name of the car he is? The
Larry
pickup
the
truck?
Cable Guy. What is his real name? Do
No,
you remember?
I don't know. It's like a funny
Larry.
name too. It's like it's not the name you would think.
Yeah. Larry
Like,
the Cable
it's not
Guy.
like Bofus or something or like
Josephus.
Rufus. Yeah, Bocephus.
Yeah, he has a regular name. Larry the Cable Guy. He's only 61. Daniel Whitney,
Yeah.
professionally known as Larry the Cable Guy. Huh. Wow.
Professionally known.
Professionally known.
Okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm not shocked again by Nikki Haley
No.
coming. I just didn't think it would happen so quickly. And I don't know, again, like who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's gonna pick her for VP. I don't know who he's gonna pick. See, the thing is, when he picked Pence, Pence didn't run for president at the time.
True.
He didn't run against Trump.
Yeah. I
So I
saw a
could
thing in
see
the
him being
Wall
like, I'm not
Street.
gonna what?
The Wall Street Journal says that he should ask Pence to run again. That would diffuse any criticisms of the ticket. Like
That and never gonna happen.
no,
I
I
mean, I
know
don't
it
know if
won't.
Pence would. I could see Pence doing it because
Oh, he would 100%. Yeah. Even though Trump tried to get him killed,
Even though
Pence would.
Trump tried to have his mongoloid mob try to hang me, still an honor for me to serve the American people.
He was demanding that I be hanged as he was doing that dance where he jacks off two imaginary dudes.
Yep, imaginary ghosts.
Yeah, no,
Looking off things.
I'm sure Pence would hop on that ticket again.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me one bit, but I don't think he'll pick Pence.
Yeah, I don't either. I think it's going to be like a Matt Gaetz or a Nancy
It's not gonna be
Mace
Matt
or
Gaetz, dude. Where the
I think it'll be some young.
I think it's like
Oh,
JD Vance.
yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. I think Trump
He's
is
fucking
going to
crack
think
if you
that.
think it's gonna be Matt Gaetz. That's like no fucking way. Matt Gaetz is
Yeah,
like a villain. Like there's a difference between Trump and Matt Gaetz. Like Trump still has that cachet from like being a celebrity for decades. Matt Gaetz is just like a repulsive piece of shit. And he's like,
yeah,
and then
it's
what are you
kind of
gonna do?
like
You're
a.
gonna put another fucking sex offender on the list? You already got Trump
Can you
on.
have two? I was just saying that. Can you have two people from the same state on the ticket?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think it fucking matters. And when it comes
I
to
thought
Trump,
there was some weird rule.
oh, maybe, but I think you're smoking crack. That's like not an option. He's not
Yeah,
gonna put
I
Matt
don't think
Gaetz.
it's
He's not gonna
necessarily
put
going
Marjorie
to be.
Taylor Green. He's not gonna put any of those people. They're
You don't
so
think so?
no fucking way. I could see him probably putting like JD Vance on there because
Yeah.
JD Vance, as repulsive as he is, he could still play a game and get trick moderates into thinking that it's okay to vote for Trump. Like I think like that guy goes down a little easier than these outright chuds. Like he's like JD
See, I
Vance.
think he's going to pick like a Nancy Mace or someone like
Yeah,
that.
and you're smoking crack. It's not gonna be
No,
Nancy.
he need like a woman who
Who though?
is
It's
a.
not gonna be her. No way.
I don't think.
Oh, she's got a rockin' butt. I don't
Ugh.
know.
Uh, I think it would be her because she's like squishier on abortion.
Yeah, I just don't
Uh,
think so. I
yeah,
don't.
I mean, like I said, I mean, who knows? Like,
A name that's never even been mentioned. There's names that have been mentioned, like Tulsi Gabbard is more of a
yeah,
potential than Nancy Mace is, and Tulsi Gabbard sucks. Like
I don't
she,
think it's
I
going to be
mean, like
Tulsi
she's
Gabbard.
what?
I wouldn't see Tulsi Gabbard, but yeah, I mean, like, because again, he would be like, I'm reaching across the aisle, I'm choosing a Democrat.
Yeah, she's a Democrat. She's been
Yeah,
like an outright going to like ape. What is it, CPAC for years now.
right, yeah, yeah. Well, anyway, all right,
Yeah,
so
I don't know. I'm trying to like pick. Like I could see him picking like Lynn Cheney before he picks like
oh no,
Nancy Mason.
really? See, my whole theory
That was a
on
joke about
his pick is that he needs someone that will diffuse the most surefire criticism against him, right? Which is right now the abortion issue.
Well, I mean, I could see him picking a woman, but a right-wing Republican woman is not going to diffuse that. Like Nikki Haley's probably your best opportunity to do that.
Yeah, but someone like Nan, I don't
I
mean to
know.
keep
I think
saying
Nancy Mace
her.
would get destroyed on the national scale. I think she would be.
Yeah,
She's
Kamala Harris
too
versus
much of a
Nancy Mace
bubblehead.
in the debate. Yeah,
I don't think that. I don't think Kamala Harris is that great of a debater. I
she
think
would
that
be against Nancy Mace.
I don't think Nancy Mace can handle the national media. I think they would crush her. They would bring up
Yeah,
uh, they would bring up the fidelity. Isn't there like some kind of fidelity or something in her with her husband? She got
I
divorced recently or something.
I don't know. You may be thinking of
I thought there was
the
something.
South Dakota woman. What's
No,
her
I'm not thinking
name?
of her. I thought there was something up with Nancy Mace that has
Could be.
like either he cheated on her or she cheated on him. I just think she's nah, it ain't gonna be
Yeah.
her.
All right. All right.
I could see if you want to have a woman on there that has any legitimacy in the Republican Party that could come off in any way as a non-complete psychopath, it's going to be Nikki Haley.
Yeah.
Nikki
I
Haley
don't.
sucks.
Yeah.
And that's how low the bar is low here. I'm not talking about like, oh, she's this like solid pick or like whatever. It's just that it would be kind of funny if you picked her because I feel like it would show that he's just as also a political creature, just like any other politician.
Right.
Because he would be like, everyone's like, no, he won't pick her because he has demands loyalty and all that. And it would just show that no,
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
he's just another politician. It's all a game, you know? So
Yeah.
whatever. Okay. Yeah, I think he's gonna pick
God.
Lauren Boebert. Imagine that.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of funny, actually. I would.
That would be.
I mean, there'd be so many Beetlejuice chants and shit. Beetlejuice coming out in September. There's a new trailer dropping soon.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
that'll be
announced
good.
I'd be like, Lauren, are you going to be on the campaign trail on September like 4th or whenever that movie comes out? And
Yeah.
she'd be like, no, I'll be in the theater jacking off with somebody. Because that's what I do. I'm Lauren Boebert, and I go when
Yeah.
Beetlejuice is
Yeah.
in the plane. Lauren Boebert is
It's a jacking. It's a
getting it on. Is
Yeah.
rubbing a hog,
Oof. Yuck.
rubbing a
Yuck.
sandworm at the those sandworms that are in the
With my Dune bucket. Yeah.
okay.
Oof. All right.
Giuliani. Okay. Arizona fake electors arraigned. Let's
Yeah.
deal with that.
Okay, so in Arizona, a few states, Michigan and a few others, have been investigating the fake electors, the people that submitted electoral votes to Congress to be counted, even though that they weren't permitted to. And the Arizona Attorney General went after the fake electors in Arizona pretty hard,
Yeah.
and recently indicted all of them. And it was a lot of the same ones that you've seen over and over again, like Jenna Ellis, and Richard Eastman, and a few of the others, and Giuliani. But she also indicted some party chairs, Kelly
There was some
Ward.
woman get indicted, and she was like supposedly one of Trump's people on the campaign or whatever.
Yeah, their director of election integrity got indicted and is going to be on trial for election fraud in Arizona.
Election integrity person. That's a
Yeah.
one, I guess.
Ugh. So and Rudy Giuliani got caught up in this too. And from what I understand, these are like pretty slam dunk cases, because I think one of the charges is forgery. And if you signed your name to this document that was like not an official document and submitted it as if it were, that's just
Oh, they
evidence.
probably are like Trump will pardon all of that. Well, can they pardon? He can't pardon them.
No, can't pardon them. Those are state charges. So, they can't interfere. The only thing they could hope to do is have someone beat Katie Hobbs as governor eventually, and then they could pardon him that way. But
Katie Hobbs supposed to be pretty popular, right?
she's reasonably popular, yeah.
This is what's her face is doing terribly. The woman running for Senate isn't
Carrie Lake.
Yeah, supposedly
Yeah.
she, like sucks.
Well, her problem is that she with the abortion thing, she's flip-flopped on that so often. And Arizona's kind of unique because they had that pre-Civil War abortion
They have
law.
to probably also be like, this is more local now. I mean, it's statewide, but
Yeah.
her whole shenanigans of like not accepting the loss and then like doing all this bullshit in Arizona.
Yeah.
Or always being at like Mar-a-Lago and all that. Like they even like some Republicans got to be like, this is not a serious person. I cannot.
Yeah. And she burned a lot of bridges within the Republican Party. She like taped someone and then released it. And I have to think, and this probably isn't true of everyone living in Arizona, but like Arizona has some like legitimate problems that they need solved. Like drought and the water issues and stuff. Like
it's a desert.
It's a desert, and it grew rapidly, and there's a lot of people in that area, and some of them just like literally don't have water. They turn on the taps and water doesn't come out. They need to solve those problems, and Carrie Lake's not really offering anything like that.
That's like, how can you let Trump be president? Just like, how could you let Carrie Lake? These are not serious people. Like, they have to govern. Like, this isn't like, like going after the trans kid playing sports is not going to keep the water on.
Right. Eventually, that's not going to put food on your table.
It never was.
Yeah, I mean,
it's easy to do it when you have food on your table. When you don't have food on your table, and they're like, "Well, I got rid of that one trans kid that wanted to compete in curling. I made sure that kid couldn't do it." Oh, thank you. Try this drought, this year-long drought, though. It's fine. It's fine. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, it is. It's
just
I don't know.
Like some of these people, like she's a clown. I can't imagine her. Okay, so one and Giuliani, you said was one of is part of that fake elector thing.
Yeah. Well, the
So,
funny. Oh, go ahead.
but well, you said we talked. I don't think we talked about it because I think it happened like the day after the whole him getting.
Yeah. After you said that, I think he was still on the run from being served. Was
So
the
I guess
thing.
that he put out a tweet that he removed quickly, which basically said like, if you can't find me, I get away with it.
Yeah,
And he
basically.
tweeted it, and I guess like the district, no, who was the person in Arizona?
The attorney general in Arizona.
She like, so it's a woman, right? I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And they screenshotted the tweet because he took it down,
Yep.
and she reposted it, and then I guess that same day.
It was
And
like within an
she said,
hour.
like, no one's above the law. And then that same day, he was like having a party for his 80th birthday. And you could watch the camera, you could watch the video, and you see a guy walk in that is wearing
Yeah.
like clearly what's like a uniform or something. And he's not there. And then I guess he eventually got served or something, right? Is that
Right.
what it is? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was trying to hide so they couldn't serve him papers. And again, this is like the Andrew Tate thing where Andrew Tate makes this
Yeah.
video about like in response to what's her name? Like
Greta
yeah, Greta
Thunberg.
Thunberg, like when she makes fun of him, and then he put out
Yeah.
that tape, and he has the fucking pizza place from
Like Romania or wherever he was living.
Romanian pizza place. I love that all these weirdos always like get like I don't even know if they're Andrew Tate defenders, whatever, but like if you bring up that video and Greta Thunberg are basically responsible
Yeah.
why this guy is gonna face criminal. They get so angry, they're like, oh, they were working on. I'm like, come on, man. They had to tip them off. This shit was going viral. And he puts out
Yeah.
a video and he's basically saying, like, he's eating pizza from a fucking pizza place that's clearly near where he
Right.
is. So you're telling me that the police were not like, thanks, let's go get his ass.
Right.
Like we know where he is now. Like he's literally in the neighborhood. Like, of course that all played into it.
Yeah. Even if it didn't, it's like you'll never know
Oh,
that
it did. It
yeah.
had to have helped. It had, even if it's not 100%, I would say it deserves half. Like
Yeah.
like would he have gotten caught eventually? Yes, but I feel like that sped it up. They got
Yeah.
him so much quicker because of his hubris. Like, so Giuliani, it's like the same thing. He puts out this tweet of like,
Yep.
not gonna get me. Like,
And then
you
they
can't
got
catch
him.
me. I get away free. And they're like, no, thank you. We got you.
Yeah, they did. And the one of the better things about the whole thing was after he was served, he appeared by video to get arraigned. And he after he was arraigned, I guess he forgot to turn off his mic and wound up recording himself peeing.
Yeah, even though his real name was Officer Frank Drebin from the police files.
Right.
That
But
scene when he's pissing is like one of the funniest scenes in the movie.
yeah, I saw a bunch of like tweets and little like articles after this happened where it was like people were debating the top 10 embarrassing things that have happened to Giuliani in the last year or two.
Well, that woman I talked about who's in the Apprentice movie, Baklava,
Yeah.
one who plays fucking Borat's daughter in the movie.
Okay, yeah, right.
He's in the room pretending to be like this. I forgot what she was, but she was pretending to be like some political person, whatever. But like,
Yeah.
and he literally pulls his pants down around her,
So crazy.
like, ready to like literally crank his hog in front of her. That's why it's real kind of funny that she's playing Ivana. Like, so
Right,
give her credit where she deserves it. Like that Borat video. I mean, that's the best part when he comes in and he's like, no, she's too old for you.
Right.
That's so funny. What a funny thing to say. Like, no, Giuliani.
Yeah.
She's 15.
Well, he's just
like how everyone's trying to defend him, and it's like even if he wasn't good at cranking,
right.
it was still bizarre looking.
It is
laying down in this room with this young woman, and like,
yeah,
like let me stick my hands in my pants now. Like that's still creepy, regardless if he had no intention to like.
Yeah. There's just not, I guess that's the thing, is there's not a good explanation for why anyone would do that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, even if everything else seemed on the level, you'd be like, well, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know. I mean, people are going to defend him no matter what. There's nothing you can do about it. But I just think either way, whatever the reason was, it's still creepy as fuck.
Yeah. Well, I think an interesting side note is that like the whole Trump team in Arizona's kind of been caught up in this. Arizona's a state Joe Biden's got to win, or really should
Well,
want
you
to
remember
win.
after the election, they were trying to harass it because Arizona took a while to count all the votes.
Yeah.
And they were
Yeah.
trying to harass them, and like
Yep.
Alex Jones was down there, and all these other chuds were down there, and they were trying to do like a what do they call that? The Burke Brothers riots in Florida, Brooke Brothers
Yeah.
riots,
Brooks
and that
Brothers.
had like
Yeah.
Roger Stone there and all
Oh
that.
God. Yeah.
Trying to harass the people counting the votes, slow it down. It's the same thing. They tried doing that in Arizona. I think they were able to stop it and make sure they couldn't go near it. But I mean, it's like complete bullshit, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, it's funny to see all these people get like fucking mugshots.
Well, yep. And a lot of them, this is like their fourth arrest or something. I think
Did they
like
go to
Jenna.
jail for this?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They could
You
get
can
many years for this, right? They could get
I
like
believe they could. I believe they're facing like pretty stiff penalties.
1 week in prison.
No, I mean like that's the thing with Trump in this in his current trial in New York is that he could be found guilty and still not face a lot of jail time.
Yeah.
But these people are like, these are felonies, felony election interference.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, those people go to jail for trying to vote twice. I mean,
yeah,
like, I always
yeah,
thought that always ends up being someone trying to vote for a Republican. Like
yeah. It's almost always.
like a right wing always push this whole like, oh, the Democrats have all these illegal voters, and then it's like, no, they don't. And then like 95% of the time, anytime someone gets caught trying to do voter fraud, it's somebody who's voting for a Republican.
Yeah, that's 90% of the time what it is. So
Like whatever. Um. Oh yeah, so Giuliani, yeah, he got caught pissing on the mic.
yeah.
You could hear
God,
it
what an
supposedly. He's like
idiot.
washing his
Yeah.
hands and shit.
I
I
looked for the
mean, this
video. I could
guy,
not
man,
find the video, but
he
I
he, he should have died or disappeared like 15 years ago.
legacy would have been
We,
secured.
we talked about this before,
Yeah.
and I still find it funny. Every time he does something like sad and pathetic or ridiculous,
Yeah.
cartoonish, this guy would have had a bridge named after him in New York easily. He would have had like airports, schools,
Yep.
probably be a fucking statue near the World Trade Center of him.
Right.
Not like a
Sure.
big, like a decent
Yeah.
statue.
Probably would have been.
Like, yeah, like he would have been revered. And
Yeah.
he just fucked off after 2008,
Pissed it all away.
had that failed run for presidency. He shouldn't even done that. He should just
Nah.
took the cachet from 9/11, still be respected to this day or whatever, some bullshit. And no, he took the opposite path. He like
Complete opposite. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's some sort of like mental breakdown with them. They can't help themselves.
it's just bizarre. I think he's definitely one of the weirdest political stories. It's just like his whole like rise to power and
Yeah.
9/11 and like becoming this like untouchable like figure in politics for like,
America's mayor. Yeah.
yeah, America's mayor for a couple of years, and then just completely squander it and then completely get rid of it under Trump. Like
Yeah.
just becoming Trump's like fall guy for every is weird.
And just like so like ill prepared. He had that Four Seasons landscaping event.
That was just
He was in court in his like shoe polish.
cartoonishly silly, or showing up with that drunk girl, the
Yep.
out proto Lauren Boebert girl,
Yeah.
from the same talent agency. Yeah, like just embarrassment, or having like that dripping coming out on his forehead, like from his
Yeah.
hair dye. Remember that?
Yeah. That's the like shoe polish. It looked like
Did you see he put out coffee?
I
Trying to
thought
sell coffee.
I saw that on TikTok and I thought it was like an old product, but that's a new product.
Who knows? It's not like
Yeah.
he's making it himself. They just buy up
Sure.
like
Yeah.
a bunch of generic ass coffee and then put their names on it.
Yeah. The video was like This is just so stupid. He's like, it's so good, I even recommend it black. Like, what? It
Like,
was,
I mean, I get it if he's saying like you don't need to put like
cream
creamer
or sugar in
into
it,
it,
but
but
it's just like the way he
like
phrased.
was there like a weird racial connotation to
Yeah,
it?
that's what it like almost. It almost sounded like that to me. I don't know. I mean, he's just such a weird guy now.
Yeah,
Anyway,
he's a joke. All right. Speaking of a joke, but
yeah,
not funny at the same time, Alito, which is one of the Supreme
yeah,
Court judges. Couple of things came up. One of them was some stock he sold pretty
yeah,
quickly. Was it like right around the time the whole Dylan Mulvaney thing with Bud Light?
yeah. They said that around the time Budweiser had some trouble they'd put out a partnership can or something with,
Wasn't even,
uh,
it was just like a little
right,
joke they gave Dylan Mulvaney to like show on their TikTok. Like,
yeah. Uh, Around that time, I guess Alito sold a bunch of Budweiser and instead bought Coors stock.
because he knew that they were going to go after Bud.
Right.
And, yep.
And I guess, I mean, that sounds shitty. But the other things are even
But it
worse.
doesn't sound shitty. It sounds even worse because it shows that he's in on what was going to happen. Like he told
Yeah.
him, hey, we're going to sink the stock. He sold it, right? Is that what he said? He sold it before it
Yes. Well, the problem is like twofold. One is like you shouldn't commit insider trading. That's wrong in itself. But the other one is like he's participating in like this political activity, which he shouldn't be as like an impartial jurist. Um,
makes
but the
sense
other,
though when people want to like go after a company that are political and then you find out like, oh yeah, they had stock that they sold right before
right,
they did a witch like attack this company and brought stock down. It's like,
yeah. Well, the other things that happened were like more overtly problematic, and that one is he had during the last election he had flown at his house a flag that was like the upside down flag, like the nation is in distress, and
yeah, wasn't it like one of those like pine tree flag or
well, these
something?
are two different things. The first one I think was a regular American flag that was upside down
That was after Trump lost.
after Trump lost, and
He's not
uh
supposed to do that because he's supposed to be a Supreme Court judge who's supposed to be non-partial or some bullshit.
right, right. And so uh after he was kind of confronted on it, he said it was his wife who did it and he didn't really know about it, and the wife did it because like a neighbor
Whatever.
had been rude. Yeah, it was just like a really shitty story.
Yeah.
But then later after that it became known that he had also flown like something called the pine tree flag. It's like a Christian nationalist flag,
Yeah.
at his beach house on the shore in New Jersey. And again, he said it was his wife's and this and that. And it was just like, this guy seems to be flying a lot of pro-insurrection flags
Yeah.
and refusing to recuse himself in these pro-insurrection cases.
Well, it's the same
Um,
thing with the other guy,
Thomas,
Thomas.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
his wife like funded the buses that went there. I mean, it's like he should
yeah,
not be allowed to be touching this case at all.
right. Uh, it's really
If they're going to let
awful.
him do it, of course they're not going to stop Alito.
Yeah. Well, you have like you have these two justices now, Alito and Thomas, whose spouses have like actively cheered on January 6th. Like
Yeah.
not even like you wonder if they support it or not. They've like taken tangible steps to show everyone that they support it.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess like it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah,
let's get away with it. It's not like he's going to leave the
he
Supreme
won't leave the
Court.
court. He won't recuse
That's going to happen.
himself.
That'll never happen.
No, no. The only thing you can hope is that like uh they'll eventually not be on the court anymore, and Biden will be able to appoint new ones.
Maybe if
Um,
he gets reelected.
I think he should just start stacking the court anyway, you
Not
know.
going to.
I know he won't. I'm just saying, like, I think he should.
Yeah, he should, but
Yeah.
I don't know. All
Yeah.
right. Um, well, this one, Iran president
Yeah.
died in a, what is it? Was he in a helicopter or a
Yeah,
plane?
it's weird. I don't
Crashed into a
understand this.
mountain?
He was in a helicopter. It was an American-made helicopter. He and a few other government officials were going to kind of a remote region, and I guess it just crashed in the fog. And from what I understand, like there's initially some talk, like a lot of people in the Arabic world thought maybe the US did it because it was like a US copter, or maybe Israel did it in retaliation for something. But most people at the end of the day agreed it's one of those things. And I think kind of America held its breath and was wondering if like something weird would happen in this transfer of power. But from what I understand, the transfer of power went relatively smoothly. This new guy has relatively the same ideas. And I think in 3 months, they're going to vote for like a replacement for this guy.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like one of those rare things where it was like everything went as kind of you would imagine it to or hope for it to. But I do think everyone kind of held their breath for a minute because,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a president of a major country
yeah,
dying horribly in a crash,
right.
and it's very easy to assume there could be some foul play involved, especially
Yeah.
with the conflicts going on in
Did you see
Israel and
that
everything.
Onion headline? They said he was stoned to death by a mountain.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. It is weird.
I mean, I
I
don't really have
thought,
anything else to say about it. It was more like
yeah.
I was just like, oh no, this isn't good.
Well,
Like
when we were talking about what we were going to talk about this week, that seemed like it might be a big thing. It had the potential to be a big thing,
yeah.
but it didn't, or it hasn't
I mean,
yet. So
it still can be.
yeah. Well, I think the thing is, if I understood it correctly, this new guy is president for like 3 months, but in that 3 months, he has to set up a new election, and it could be they elect some nutcase,
Well,
like
again, isn't it just like the Ayatollah runs the country or something?
yeah, there's like
Or
a
whatever they're called.
religious segment.
I want to get the name right.
Yeah, I don't know the name of it, but there's like a supreme religious authority that kind of really is running the show. Um, I don't know. I hope it just kind of goes the way it has been.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we'll see.
All right. Well, we'll see. But speaking of something horrible,
Yeah, this was
Greg Abbott
terrible.
promised this a while ago, but he decided to deliver on it. He pardoned do you know the guy's name?
Yeah, it was I want to it's geez, in my head I'm saying Dennis Kelly, but let me see who it was. I got it loaded up
Daniel
here.
Perry.
Daniel Perry. What did I say? Daniel Kelly?
Close.
Daniel Perry, yeah. He was convicted of a couple of years ago of shooting and killing a Black Lives Matter protester. Uh, and he killed the guy and then went to prison for it. And then
He was proven guilty in court for
Yep.
murder. What was he supposed
Yeah.
to be going away for? Like 30 years or something?
I thought it was like I thought it was like 20. But it was a long stretch of time.
The thing
It wasn't.
about it that messes it up is that there's all these like tweets or whatever found of him on like, I don't know, 4chan or whatever, all these different things that are found where he basically said he wanted to go out there and kill BLM people or start
Yeah.
shit with BLM people. And he
Yeah.
did. And he killed somebody. And the fucked up thing about the whole thing was the guy was young. The guy he killed was pretty young. He was 19.
Yeah.
He was like a mechanic for the military at one point, or
Yeah.
and his wife or girlfriend at the time is this like disabled woman in a wheelchair. She has like no limbs,
That's
supposedly.
right. Yeah.
And she posted on Twitter about it. It was like really sad. Like she posted about how horrible this is because she like at least like this murderer that killed her. I think might have been her husband or whatever at the time, and basically her caretaker too. He like totally took care of her. That this animal gets out of prison.
Yeah.
For like no good reason. What reason did Greg Abbott have for pardoning this guy?
Well, I read a little bit about this afterwards, and I guess the police departments have been really asking for him to be released. And the Austin Police Department in specific wrote a letter to Greg Abbott asking for this guy to be released.
Why?
Well, clearly because they are thinking we need more citizens to help us stop Black Lives
We
Matter.
need more Kyle Rittenhouses out there.
Yeah, they want more Kyle Rittenhouses. And this really bothered me. I looked at it because Austin is a real progressive city, right? Like the people that live in
it's
Austin.
Like the blue, what do they call that?
Oasis, Blue
Oasis. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
And it legitimately is that way. It's not like everyone there is liberal, but like it's a pretty liberal city. And there were some Palestinian protests in Austin not too long ago. And the Austin police, I guess Austin passed a law that says you can't use facial recognition software to catch people. And so Austin police took a bunch of photos and then sent it to other police departments so they could use facial recognition software for them. And then they arrested those people. And it just really like hit me like, if like I know I'm getting reductive here, but if a group of people in a town vote for politicians and the politicians make laws that the group of people want them to make, and then they hire cops to enforce those laws, the fuck are the cops to like skirt the laws? You know what I mean? Like
that's probably been going on since the day cops were
invented.
I know, but like the Daniel Perry thing, the fucked up thing about this is that he I guess tried running over people first and then he got out of his car.
Yeah.
He went there to like basically run over people.
He went there to start shit. Yeah. But it was like a Rittenhouse situation.
Well, I would say it was probably worse than Rittenhouse actually, because like I don't think there was any footage or any tweets or anything that stated that he's going to go out there to kill people or start to murder people, which is basically what this Daniel Perry guy did. I mean, listen, Rittenhouse is a piece of shit. He should be in prison. Yeah. I'm just saying that what Greg Abbott did here is so disgusting.
Yeah.
There's no reason to pardon this guy. Like, why? Who is this?
Everyone had kind of forgotten about it. Like, even
trust me, when I saw that, some of the comments, oh my God, especially on that poor girl who's basically, I think it was like her husband was killed by Daniel Perry. There were all these horrible comments left by such horrible people on Twitter. It was so disgusting. I read a comment. I was like, I can't even look at this. This is so gross. These people are.
It is disgusting. Yeah.
It is. It's so fucking gross. There's no reason. I still don't get it. Why did you need to pardon this guy?
It does seem like looking for, like he had already weathered that storm. You know, he didn't need to revisit it. Nobody was complaining about it anymore. Oh well.
Greg Abbott's horrible. And it makes me think that if Trump gets back into power, he's going to pardon that guy who attacked Nancy Pelosi's husband.
Yeah, geez, I can see that. That is good.
That guy's going to jail for 30 years.
Yeah.
He got 30 years, that guy.
I think that may be a federal charge.
Nancy Paul Pelosi's boyfriend, according to the right. Yeah. Like that was so fucked up. Like that was so fucking evil, because not just do you have I don't think she was the outgoing Speaker of the House husband. No, she wasn't House Speaker anymore. Husband get attacked in their home. But then you have like the right wing in entirety spreading all kinds of horrible, like ridiculous, cartoonishly ridiculous conspiracies.
Yeah.
And then the guy was like a total nut. He wasn't he was like
he had some mental health issues.
He was there to kill Nancy Pelosi. She just wasn't there.
Yeah. I saw one article where they said he had like several intense but ill-defined grievances against Nancy Pelosi. Like he wasn't real sure why, but
yeah, I'm sure that's like 90% of the right wing has that same problem. Okay, well then let's go on to Greg Abbott's a piece of shit, and there was no reason. What's this guy gonna do?
He walks free. I think he already has walked free.
What did Greg Abbott give any reason why this guy deserves to be let go? It's insane.
Okay, great. Perry was convicted. He was supposed to do 25 years.
I did make his lips cry.
Yeah, jeez. I don't know. But he's already up on other charges. I guess they're going to try him on a misdemeanor deadly conduct charge. It won't result in any jail time. Um, I don't know. I think Abbott did it just to court favor with the police department, to be a good own on the libs.
Yeah.
He doesn't need a reason. The guy's just sort of like gross.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of gross.
Yeah. So you're talking about the Marjorie Taylor Green,
Yeah.
Jasmine Crockett thing.
Funny thing, I'll get into the funny thing about I've heard this woman before, and I could see why Marjorie Taylor Green might have some beef with her.
Yeah,
Marjorie
for sure.
Marjorie Taylor Green was not invited to go to the Trump trial thing. She was snubbed. So I think she pissed, and she tried putting on some show in Congress, talking about, I don't know, someone on the trial or whatever, bringing it up. And then she decided to say something nasty to Jasmine Crockett. She's a congresswoman, Democratic congresswoman from Texas, right?
Yeah, I think she's in the Houston area. I don't know if it's Houston itself, but yes, she is.
So she made some nasty comment about her eyelashes or whatever. Whatever. It was just like weird.
Well, it was racially tinged. I mean, it was, in my estimation, it had a racial component.
Well, if it's coming out of Marjorie Taylor Green, then yeah, most likely.
Yeah.
Who did she say in response? Like, butch body.
Yeah, it was like, okay, so Marjorie Taylor Green said something about her fake eyelashes, and then Andrea AOC popped in. And, yeah, anyway, there's a back and forth, and then Marjorie Taylor Green was like, "Are you gonna cry? Are your feelings hurt?" And it was just like a third grade bully about it. And so there's a rule on the House floor that says you can't disparage other people's personalities. Well, it's like this old fashioned thing. So
Boebert went after what's that guy's name? He ran for president. He's still in Congress. What's his name? They always accuse him of like they cheated on his wife with like a Chinese spy.
Oh yeah, Eric Swalwell.
Yeah,
Swalwell.
And like so, Boebert said all kinds of egregious.
But they generally don't do it in the Congress itself. Okay,
it was.
Well, normally what happens is that the like Eric Swalwell would raise his hand and say, "I want those remarks stricken," and then
it was AOC that did it.
Well, okay, but in this instance, the Republican running the hearing said, "No, we're not going to take them down. It's okay to say that." And so that's what prompted Jasmine Crockett to say, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm trying to get a clarification here. If I said
bleach blonde, bad built, butch body,
right? If I said that, would that be?" And they're like, "Oh, that's out of order, or whatever." And
I guess the guy's partially deaf. The guy who was like running it, so supposedly could not hear her because she wasn't like really loud about it, you know?
No. But it was, and then afterwards, I guess Mike Johnson said he wished everyone would just act better and whatever. And I don't know. I really liked Jasmine
I would have
Crockett.
been there, but I was too busy jacking off to myself.
We had just gotten out of Texas, so I had a backlog of I like that they called Marjorie Taylor Green on that. And I like the fact that Jasmine Crockett said this was a racist attack.
John Fetterman said that did some fucking bullshit both sidism thing.
Yeah.
And AOC like fucking went after him and said, like, you're supposed to fucking be on our side here. Like you took some this was some racist attack on her.
It was.
Yeah, Fetterman sucks. That's what I mean. Like this guy's proven to be like a colossal disappointment on so many levels. This is just being one of them. It's like, the fuck, dude? Like, I mean, listen, is Pennsylvania and the United States better off that he's in and not fucking
Dr. Oz?
Dr. Oz? Hell yeah.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
I don't know. Maybe he needs a good primary in 2026. I don't know when it's like a while.
Yeah, it's a while. You had said, and I agree with you, that as long as he's not sandbagging progressive legislation, then I'm not gonna like get too worked up over this kind of stuff, but it is disappointing. You know, I mean, he was sold as like a pretty progressive guy, and
Yeah,
he's
he was like
not.
almost like Bernie 2.0 or something.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That was his shtick. Is like, I'm a liberal progressive, but I'm a real guy that talks to real people, and
yeah,
you know,
and
you'll have a beer with me at the bar, and
becoming like really like unapologetically bizarre
yeah,
to Israel, and I don't know. But then this happens, and it's like, just shut the fuck up, or take fucking Jasmine Crockett's sign. Just say Marjorie Taylor Green shouldn't say anything about anybody.
yeah.
You know,
Or you
seen her?
can, if you
Yeah,
want
you just make a joke like that. Have you seen this person?
to,
She's the last
yeah.
person I should be criticizing anybody.
Well, yeah. Again, it would be like, it wouldn't be different, but there was like a clear racial component here. And even if Fetterman didn't want to get involved, he could say, like, look, Republicans need to learn how to run the House. You know, I mean, you could
Yeah,
say it's a rules issue. And
Republicans don't have control of the House.
yeah,
They
yeah.
don't have a
But
hand on it. They don't have. It's out of hand. They don't
they're
have.
not good with this kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
whatever.
Uh,
But the funny thing about Jasmine Crockett, I don't think people remember, is that like a year ago or something like that, when Marjorie Taylor Green would constantly go to like the prison where a lot of the
mhm.
January 6s were, and she would make it sound like they were like fucking POWs.
Yeah,
Jasmine
yeah.
Crockett decided to go get a tour. And she was the one who said that that's complete bullshit. They are in their own, all
Yeah,
of them are together in their own like wing of the prison.
their own
They get
pod.
everything they want. She's like, I don't know what they're talking about. I've never seen anybody have such
Luxurious.
luxuries
Yeah,
in prison than these people. Like, she was the only one. Like, I don't know if any other Democrats went to it. She was the one, and she fucking diffused all
I
that.
remember that. Yeah.
That, yeah. So I mean, I could see Mark Joe Green. Mark Joe Green fucking sucks. And then she put out some weird video of her like doing pull-ups. She's a fucking beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's like a fucking like, I don't even know. She's like an orc. She is. She's like a fucking orc from like
Yeah, yeah. All
like that
gloppy and
orc that
stuff.
they fight in the end of like the Two Towers. No, not Two Towers.
The one with the
Some of
hand
the
on his
James,
face, the one
the
that looked
hairy
like
orc.
Wilson.
What?
The one with the hand on its face, the one that looked like Wilson.
No, that's the first movie. The
Oh,
Yokai. No, this was like
oh yeah, yeah, you're right.
third
I'm
movie.
sorry.
There was like some orc that
Yeah,
had like a star across its face, and
yeah,
like, ugh, she's just trash. And she's a plant. She's constantly like attacking the Ukraine. She's constantly like, I don't know.
yeah,
But I'm glad that people responded against her. She sounds like a typical white racist that
yeah.
doesn't want to be confronted, and then when people speak up and say anything back, she's like, "How dare you?" You know, it's like,
Right. Yeah.
"Don't you know who I am?" It's like, yeah,
Please.
you're the missing link. Like,
Yeah.
you're the living example of why the church is wrong when it comes to evolution.
Yeah.
We're
You're a fossil. You're a fossil.
Dodo. Like,
Oh,
all right.
woof.
Speaking of wolf and a the bang,
Oh yeah, Kid Rock.
uh,
This is
Kid Rock came out. Well, no, he did an interview or something with Rolling Stone, and I guess
yes.
pulled a gun on the reporter and was like a complete psychopath.
And he used the N-word too, if I'm
Oh, he uses
remembering
it
the
all the
article.
time.
Yeah.
He thinks he
Yeah.
had like some. I watched some great YouTube video about him, like this person doing a thing about Kid Rock, and it was not
Yeah.
a puff piece, right? It was like
Sure.
pointing out like how when he was younger, first of all, he comes from a very rich, wealthy family in
Yes.
outside of Detroit. He wanted to become like a rapper or DJ, whatever. So he like came to like old school like black rappers, whatever, and basically
Hmm.
they, I don't know, he must have schmoozed them or whatever, and they took him under their wing, and he just took advantage, and then he was
Yeah.
like country shit and totally abandoning like them and everything, and they're like, yeah, he used us. um he's been our MAGA chud for years. He was a Bush
Yes.
supporter. But like, why is the Rolling Stones even interviewing him?
That was
How is he even relevant in any way
yeah.
whatsoever?
Yeah, he's only relevant as like a political person now. He's not relevant like culturally or musically. Um, My guess is it had to have been a political piece. I mean, it wouldn't be a musical
Like
piece.
he's the MAGA rapper or something.
Yeah, like who's the
But like,
who's the
why? Fergaccio Blow.
yeah,
But
that's
like,
him. Yeah,
why give him any attention? Like,
yeah,
I don't understand. But yeah, he was supposedly like a real psycho about it, and like you said, yeah, he pulled a gun. He was like really bizarre. Right? My own response is again like, you didn't have to interview him. There's a lot of other
no,
artists out there you could interview. You don't need
yeah.
to like promote this guy. He's irrelevant. Like,
It is. It's like, especially because it's like Ted Nugent. Ted Nugent hasn't made relevant music in like 60 years or something, you know.
yeah, I got you. Yeah.
But like, well, when was Ted Nugent was popular like in the 60s, wasn't he?
No, probably 70s and 80s.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, 70s.
Yeah, not
Anyway, like these people aren't relevant for music anymore. They were briefly relevant for music, and
K-Rock
now they're
hasn't been
just like,
relevant since like the 2000s.
yeah, they're like shitty opinion factories now. So
Yeah. I don't know. I think I was just like, so you get for interviewing him, I guess. But
yeah,
one of the funny things too was he came out at a show, a guy named Jelly Roll.
yeah, yeah.
What the fuck is that?
It's some like pop artist. He did a
Like a country
song.
guy?
I don't know. He did a song with someone, a rock artist, not that long ago. Uh,
Got like a bunch of tattoos on his face.
yeah, I think you're
1,000
right though.
pounds.
I think he
Like
is
up
a.
1,000 pounds or something.
I think he is a like a country rapper or something.
Uh,
I don't know.
well, I guess he was
Uh,
he was supposedly there driving a Tesla Cybertruck
this is yeah,
that was painted orange to look like the General Lee.
right.
Kid Rock was on it, and he was doing his old like "I'm kid" whatever on the hood of
Sure.
a General Lee Cybertruck. And the funniest thing about the whole thing, though, is that all these chuds are buying this stupid ass car, and
Yeah.
it's just like it's an electric car. I think it's really funny, actually, that it's still an electric car,
Yep.
and these gas guzzling fucking rolling coal assholes are all like, "I won't get me a Cybertruck. Yeah, I want to own the libs by driving an electric car."
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think it's really
It's
funny,
like
and you got
it,
Kid Rock promoting it.
yeah. The irony is that like good for them if they want to buy electric cars. That's like
Oh, I just think it's funny though that
it is.
comes out with a Cybertruck painted as General Lee, which is just gross anyway. I
I don't know
saw
if we could
the Cybertruck today when I was driving,
yeah.
and yeah, it's stupid looking. Like the
Yeah.
first time I saw it, I was like, oh, okay. I could see how some people might be like, this is
Sure.
kind of interesting when I drove past. But then I drove to get buy another one today, and I was like, this thing's dumb looking. Like
Yeah.
it's what did I was watching something with like Andy Richter and I forgot the other comedian, and they said they made it. They were talking about the Cybertruck, and someone said Andy Richter says people online are calling it the Incel Camino instead of the El Camino.
Right. Some of
El
the El
Camino.
Camino. Yeah. No, that
Yeah,
makes sense. I just wish we could like also convince MAGA that other good ways to own the libs would be like
stop eating red meat.
recycling. What?
Stop eating red meat.
Yeah, stop eating. Yeah, recycling, getting vaccinated, stuff like.
Oh, really on the libs if you got the most current COVID vaccine,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
most
So
current
like
one, they'll really get their goat.
part of me is like just annoyed by these Tesla trucks. I don't like Elon Musk. I don't like any of that. But like when I stop sometimes and think about it, like a bunch of Republicans buying electric cars, sure. All right. That'll be it. That can be a good way for you to
It's kind
rebel.
of funny
So yeah, it is.
that
It's
like he was like Elon Musk look at it like, okay, the other companies are coming out with electric cars, and the more electric cars that come out, it's going to become more obvious that my car is not that great, actually.
right. Yeah.
I'm not talking about the Cybertruck, I'm talking about just Teslas as a whole. So he was like, but if I become a polarizing
Right.
political personality, I will have a online group of idiots that will go out and buy this.
Yeah.
No matter
Evangelize
what,
for him.
even if it falls apart while they're driving it, like
Mm.
literally pieces just come off as they're driving it.
Mm.
They won't get mad at me because
Yeah.
I met their criteria for chuddiness. I don't know.
Right.
All right. Well, that's it for Kid Rock. And I guess
Elon.
So one of the big things in the news is this is the last thing we're gonna talk about. Red
Yeah.
Lobster is I guess filed for bankruptcy or something.
Right, yeah. And I think they've closed most of, if not all, their stores.
It wasn't all of them.
It wasn't?
I don't think so.
It was.
Well,
I know it was a lot, but anyway.
Let's see.
Yeah, I thought they closed all of them with the idea that they might reopen some of them.
It just says these. This is from 2 days ago. These U.S. Red Lobster locations are closing after bankruptcy.
Oh, okay.
So it's not the entire company,
Right.
but it's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So you might have to drive like another mile to get.
Sure.
So, of course, the meme that gets pushed around, especially by like right-wing media and like corporations, whatever, they try to blame the consumer, saying you ate too much.
Ate too much shrimp. Yeah.
And people like, haha, that's funny, but it's like, it was found out they lost like maybe 10 million altogether with that whole promotion, the endless shrimp thing, where people took advantage of it or whatever. No, the reality is like a private equity firm bought Red Lobster, and they bought it specifically because I guess Red Lobster owns their land. So it's almost like you're buying like a real estate. It's like, who gives a fuck what's on here?
Right.
We own this property.
And they leased it back to those Red Lobsters at these crazy above market prices.
Yep. And then on top of that, for food. So the food quality supposedly dipped. I haven't been to 1 year. I do like those Cheddar Bay biscuits, but I haven't had them in years, so I don't know. One time I bought one of those kits though.
Yeah.
Make Cheddar Bay biscuits from home.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh, it was so much better than the store. Going to the Red Lobster and buying them, making them myself.
Yeah.
It was just like, sure, let's put a whole stick of butter on one.
Yeah.
Those
biscuits are really good. But
they are.
Yeah.
But so like on top of it, they I guess a seafood company that this private equity firm owned or whatever,
Yes.
owners owned, they basically made them Red Lobster buy the shrimps exclusively from them, and the shrimp was way overpriced too on top of it.
Yeah.
So this whole like, blame the consumer for a dumb promotion that Red Lobster could have just stopped at any time. Or they could have put some rules, like that's all you could eat, but like, you can't share this with like your family. I remember seeing like videos of people like coming, it was like family of 10.
Yeah.
Just, like, only 2 people.
One, right.
Yeah. It was like, okay, this is
simple to put guideposts on that. Like, we're only going to do it during these hours, or this is for visits lasting under an hour and a half.
Single person, or you can eat family, and then charge like $50.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Like family of 5. Okay, well, here you go. You could all get them, but it's like $50.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That's not the fucking reason why this happened. The reason why has to do with, you know this more than me. Private equity firm?
Yeah, the private equity thing is, they exist to destroy these things. They purchase it, and then they
did that with Bed Bath and Beyond. I think they did that.
Yeah,
they did that with Toys R Us. That was damn sure.
So what they do is they'll suck all the money out of it, and then they'll sell off the parts, and then they'll move on to something else. And it reminded me of the Sopranos episode where like Tony Soprano, the Davy owes Tony a bunch of money from gambling.
Robert Patrick, is that his name?
Yes, the Robert Patrick character.
And all that. Yeah, he's in he owns like a sporting goods store.
Yeah, he owns a sporting goods store. Tony lets him into the poker game. And I can't remember if Tony knew this and it was a shitty thing. But anyway, the guy gets in the poker game. He loses a bunch of money. And Tony basically ruins the guy's life. He like takes over the sporting goods store.
His family is destroyed.
Yeah. He orders a bunch of shit on credit. Like this is basically what happens. Tony makes him order a whole bunch of shit on credit. He orders far too much product. Then Tony sells the product. The store says the product was like stolen. They file insurance. And it's just like this racket where like they're sucking they're getting more out of the store than it really had to begin with.
And that's what these private equity firms are doing.
That's what these private equity firms do. They intentionally destroy the company, and they like ruin people's careers, jobs, lives.
They usually like to go after companies when they know, like, oh yeah, this company owns like their own property. So
yes,
it's not just like, oh, you own, you have this brand that everybody knows is retail operation, but you also own the building that it's in there. And honestly, that's what happened to Kmart and Sears. That's what kept Kmart and Sears alive for years, was because they owned the buildings that they were in.
Yeah.
Especially Kmart and everything. That's what kept them like going. And then these private equity firms were like, ooh.
Well, yeah, because it's like a tangible asset,
But then I see today like the fake working man's paper, the New York Post, and I say fake,
yeah,
but not really. They're there to convince dumbasses to side with billionaires and millionaires and right-wing politicians. They posted about it. Let me see if I can find the headline about Red Lobster. And they basically pushed the whole they blamed it on the endless shrimp thing. They said that that is literally why they're going out of business. And that's like, that is not it. Like, that was just kind of funny.
Yeah. I think, that wasn't it at all. I mean, I guess you could say like certainly the all you can eat shrimp didn't do them any favors.
No.
But that was a symptom of what was going on. That wasn't what was going on,
Yeah, I saw that headline. I was like, oh, come on.
It's frustrating. I mean, these private equity firms, for the most part, have just been horrible for consumers, for small businesses. They've just been like
how do they end up getting like swallowed up by these things?
Companies. I think because they start with shaky financial positions and they need an influx of cash, is I think the general path by which a lot of these take. And then they get in over their head. I mean, it's just, I know I hate to keep going back to the analogy of the mob, but like, how did Davey get in with Tony? He needed money. He started to gamble. It didn't work out. He got into deeper debt with Tony. And then the next thing you know, Tony's in your back office and you're out front, like wondering what the hell happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it probably sounds good on paper to some of these people, what private equity offers, but it often
it just benefits the company, the private equity company.
It is. It's like inviting the mob into your life.
It makes you wonder if like one of the head of the company or whatever is in on it, and that's why they allow these private equity firms to come in. Like they're getting some kind of stipend or something.
I mean, I don't doubt it. Like if you had a $2 million a year job, then of course you'd want to keep that gravy train rolling. I mean, makes sense.
No, that they're in on the whole private equity coming in and just
that they're doing it intentionally.
Like they're in on it, they're gonna get a big check or something. Like they're gonna get a cut.
That could be. Or they're gonna get placed in some other, because sometimes private equity will say, like, we want these people in charge of this. Maybe if you play ball with them, they'll put you in charge of another thing they take over. I mean, it's who knows? I hadn't thought of that angle, but I could see it.
The whole like seeing like New York Post, all these people pushing the whole like, aha, you lost Red Lobster because of endless shrimp. It's like the same idiots that push the whole bullshit. No one wants to work. That fucking line. Yeah. People want to work. They weren't hiring. It was a fact. They were not. They would have for hire signs on their stores, and they weren't hiring shit.
Right. Yeah.
Or lying about that woman that like sued McDonald's for getting coffee.
Yeah.
It sounds like
a cash grab, but it wasn't. It was a legitimate.
To the average person, they're like, that's not cool. And that's not what happened at all. Like she got severely burned. She needed surgery, skin grafts, and everything. And they said it like aged her and killed her. Like she was an older lady, but she was like in perfect health. And they said like she probably would have lived a lot longer. But again, people push that whole joke and that meme, like, oh, all these useless lawsuits, like the lady who sues McDonald's for having hot coffee. Of course, coffee's hot, dumbass. Like one of those,
Yeah.
like, of course it's hot.
Yeah. It's that's
Punching
frustrating.
down, punching down humor. You see that asshole on TikTok? I think he was part of the Trump administration or whatever. I
Oh
think I sent
yeah.
it to you. Do you know who that
The
guy is? He puts like
he's
TikToks all the time. He's an asshole.
I forget his name, but he's part of that Project 2025 or whatever, the Trump project.
Yeah, it's like Mike Johnson, all them. He
Yeah,
said he's like, oh, I like to give out money to the homeless people, and it's like fake money. It's like Hollywood
right.
money from like movies or whatever. Gives it to them, and so that then they go buy something and they get arrested, and then they're taken off the street. So you can say I did a good deed because I got them off the street and got them
Right.
shut. And people will like leave comments like, dude, what you're doing is committing a crime, actually.
Yeah.
If
Right.
he's actually doing that, what he claims. But they're like, you're the one putting out that money, knowing that it's not.
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. If I pass a counterfeit bill at Walgreens or whatever, unbeknownst to me, I may get questioned, but pretty quickly they're going to realize that like I'm not doing that. Like I only had like one or two counterfeit bills. There's no evidence that I turned in counterfeit bills anywhere else. They'll not look at me and they'll go find the guy handing them out.
Yeah.
It won't take long to figure out where the nexus of that is. So, asshole.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's just going to keep happening, this whole private equity thing, and
yeah,
more brand. I just love it though. It's like people like they get all upset about Red Lobster, they get all upset about Toys R Us. You're like, okay, when's the last time you went in one of those places?
yeah.
25 years ago.
That's the other thing is that like a lot of these places, um, they don't have a future per se. I mean, Red Lobster's kind of different because like there aren't like a ton of seafood places. I could see Red Lobster
Yeah, those
having
chicken biscuits. So
yeah, they're so good.
that's cool.
I could see them being like uh I could see them having a future, but a lot of these places that are taken over by private equity, it's because they can be. You know what I mean? Like they
I don't want to eat there, but I heard you can go there and order like 12 biscuits to go.
yeah. That would be awesome.
I think that's a lot. I think 4 would be more than enough.
Well, if you were having family over, like if you
right. Like I'm not just eating this by myself.
right, like there's a difference between like swinging by Red Lobster and getting a 12-pack of biscuits and then going home and watching like reruns of Night Court versus like, well, I'm having family over, so I'm gonna get a 12-pack to feed 6
You
people.
could get
Like
a 12-pack and eat them over 12-day period.
I could easily eat 6 biscuits in one sitting. I know I could.
So
I
then you
know.
and your wife,
Yeah.
maybe your kid too.
So if you said I could buy a 12-pack of biscuits, I would eat 6 immediately, and then I would reheat like 2 for breakfast and then 4 at lunch. Like
6 immediately in the car. After
yeah,
that, will make it into my mouth.
right. 2, probably 2 on the way home, 4 while watching a rerun of Night Court.
Why Night Court? Do you have to
I
watch
just
Night
made
Court?
that up. No, I just
Is there a rule?
and
Want
then
something better?
yeah, anything that's on. And then 2 the next morning and then 4 again at lunch. I think that sounds like a good ratio.
Yeah.
They're good. They're real good.
I haven't had them in years though. They might be terrible. It's like, remember like Olive Garden breadsticks?
Yeah,
Like, you always like when you're younger, you're like, ooh, breadsticks, and you think they're so good. And I've had them like, again, I haven't had it in years at Olive Garden. It's probably been like 8 years since the last time I've been to one. I don't know, but I just remember like the breadsticks were not that good. And I was like, were they better when I was a kid, or did I just think they were good when I was a kid because they came to the table and they were kind of fun and they were hot and a little buttery, like
yeah. When I was
not that good actually.
no, they're not that good anymore.
If the Chip Baked biscuits are like that too. Like I'd get them and I'd be like, oh, it's okay. It's like little clumps of cherry.
I'll bet you they're still good because a breadstick. People like there's a lot of breadsticks these days. You get bread almost anywhere you go. I went to a Texas Roadhouse not that long ago, and had their big bread with the cinnamon
Oh
honey
yeah, that's
butter.
pretty good. That's again probably the best thing there.
Yeah, and that was like pretty good, like easily as good as an Olive Garden breadstick. I just remember when I was a kid, like when I first started going to the Olive Garden, I was older and had to pay for my own meals. Like I'd do it after high school or whatever.
Yeah.
We'd go to Olive Garden, and like the idea that you could get that pasta fazool soup and breadsticks and a salad, and like you could eat for like 3 hours off of like at the time $6 or $7. That was amazing. That was like it never dawned on me that that could be a thing. So
But wouldn't Olive Garden go out of business because of that?
yeah. Yeah, I'd imagine Olive Garden's doing okay. The whole idea of like buying pasta out though just kills me. Like pasta costs 20 cents for like a pound.
Oh, anytime
You
I
know what
go
I mean?
out, the joke is anytime I go to a Italian restaurant, I try not to get pasta.
Yeah, you gotta get something else. Right.
Yeah. Like, I mean, there'll be something in it. I'm not just gonna eat spaghetti, but you're right, it costs nothing. It's like the cheapest thing you can get. Like,
Yeah. I mean, unless they have like some really good presentation or ingredients like otherwise,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. But if you're just getting plain pasta with like a little bit of sauce, dude, like
yeah,
they're
it's a
they're
sucker's bet.
yeah, they're killing you. It's like, yeah, it's like going to a I don't know, a buffet and eating like lettuce and bread.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Everybody knows what you're supposed to do at a buffet is you go to the soft serve machine and you lay on your back and shove your hand
Right.
and you let your friend or you try doing it yourself and you just fill your mouth up with as much soft serve ice cream, kind of like what the Gremlins, Gizmo,
Yeah.
the Mogwais did in Gremlins too,
Then afterwards, you polish it off with a couple Salisbury steaks and call it a night.
Salisbury steaks. Besides
The
TV
finest
dinners,
cut
they have
comes
Salisbury steaks, I guess, in old age homes, or I don't know.
comes
Like,
from the Salisbury part of the body. Comes from
I know. I always be like, what the fuck? Isn't it just like a hamburger with gravy? It's gonna
yeah.
look
I think it's chopped meat that's like formed in the
like an
like
oval shape or something,
yeah, they form it as if it were a steak, but
like
it's
a black
hamburger.
meatloaf,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's basically just a hamburger.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you when
the
I was
Salisbury part of the body.
well, gotta make the Salisbury's. Uh, when I was again like in high school, there was like a frozen food company called Nighthawk that would make like Salisbury steak and corn, like a microwave dinner. And I saw one recently, and it was like so nostalgic. I used to eat dozens of those like weekly.
Yeah,
Just Salisbury steak. It's like burger or something. I don't know, whatever.
yeah. Top shelf
Yeah.
Salisbury steak.
Yes. So
The
very
Salisbury part of the body. I remember real quick. We'll wrap this up. When I moved to Chico, California,
yeah.
one of the things I saw when I would go out to eat or go to places be like tri-tip sandwiches.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I never heard of tri-tip until I moved out to California.
Oh
I was like, what the fuck is
yeah.
tri-tip? Is that like a part of the cow that only exists out west? Like, I think it's got to be a different name in New York. They don't call it tri-tip. They must call it
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah,
I was
I would
like,
imagine not. What is it? It is
I
like
don't fucking know.
yeah.
Cock and
I've heard
balls.
of that though, yeah.
Yeah, but I just remember that and be like, the fuck is no one
Tri
answered it for me. I was like, no, like,
what is a tri-tip?
yeah, like what the fuck does that mean? My uncle tried to tip me.
Yeah. I was like,
I told him no.
I just want to make sure it's not popular in England or something, because then you know it's not great. It's like
Covered in jelly sauce.
yeah.
Covered in the marmalade.
Right, they jelly it. That's how you know it's
Mommy,
real.
Mumsy, can you
Yeah.
get me the tri-tip with the covered and smattered in mucilage?
Put it in aspic or something.
Some kind of brown toxic sauce.
Oh fuck. Yeah. Oh well.
Can you cover it in governor's sauce, mama? Governor's sauce. Fuck is
Get
that?
a nice dish of Salisbury and whole. Because
All right, well, that was a better way to end it instead of talking
yeah.
about depressing things like
Yeah, private equity.
like Kid
Or
Rock.
Kid Rock.
Yeah. He looks like ass, dude.
Yeah.
I
Looks
think
like
I think the thing I hate the most about him, like obviously he's rich because
yeah.
he's regardless of what you think about him, he has been successful.
Oh, he's got like a half dozen songs you'd recognize. That's
and
it.
he's been around for decades.
Yeah.
The thing I hate about him the most is just how he's like a fucking LARPer who pretends to be this like white
Yeah.
trash, grew up in like a trail park and all that. When he's like really was this like rich kid, and
Yeah.
like several used car places or whatever. You know, just
Yeah, it's really disingenuous.
it's gross. It just shows how dumb people are.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the fact too that he got so political. Like there's plenty of people like I think the Strokes were all like super wealthy kids
Oh yeah, that's how
that
they got big. Like I think their parents were like
right.
one of them like was the head of like one of the biggest magazines in the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they got famous, but like they still kind of cosplay being like, gutter punks or whatever, but like they're not out there like also railing against capital gains taxes or something, they're just like playing music.
I mean, has the Strokes been relevant in decades? I mean,
Nah.
say
I think the singer
can you name a member of the Strokes?
Julian Casablancas was like the singer.
You could have made that up. You could have called him Johnny Salisbury, and I would have been like
Johnny Salisbury. No, he's he's around. So I heard he's like kind of like had problems with like addiction and stuff.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Anyway,
well,
right, back down to a downer ending.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? We were talking about fucking Salisbury and tri-tips and fucking Kid Rock. Now you gotta make it all down. Why don't you bring up that guy who got fucking pardoned by that ghoul Greg Abbott? Just hey guys, just remember that if you're at the wrong place at the wrong time and you get killed, there'll be no justice because a right-wing lunatic will free that person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Trump's totally got a part in that guy who attacked.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, that would make good sense.
No, I mean it depends. If it gets brought up, if it never gets brought up, he won't do it. But
yeah, Trump often will only do shitty things if they're like convenient. He won't go out of his way to do.
Yeah.
Only if like the situation aligns in front of him will he do it. So
yeah.
Oh well.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm Rob Israel.
I'm Joseph K.
You still going on about
that?
Thank you for listening to You Still Going On About That. Please like, comment, share, and if you haven't done already, please follow us on Instagram, YSGOAT, Facebook, YSGOAT, and Twitter, YSGOAT. Thank you, and have a great day.